Rotation, theater mode. Hello everyone, hello. Welcome one and all. Alright. I gotta turn on my lights. I got some recording software running. We've got a good background Chelsea and I were just working on. She did all the work. I just I shared my opinion. This isn't it. Stand by. Stand by. Oh, it's... I think we're going to go with that one. Yes! Look at that. Come on. Here we go. Now, what am I going to do with me? I think we're going to go up here. Whee! It's not great, but we're going to work with it. Oh, Jacob's excellent. Let's check in with our Ryan Reynolds extraordinary.
Question.
Yeah, what you got?
Let's see. I want to see all the little Easter eggs in the background. Let's see. We have a giraffe. We have you in a.
I'm gonna put my headphones in, and I hope I don't get an audio glitch like I sometimes do.
Okay, I see you a giraffe. Very colorful, LGBTQ. Okay, good. Make sure you got that demographic.
That's
We
Lisa, the
have
rainbow
you.
giraffe. She's the creator of our universe.
Just the Brian Reynolds pet.
We can fight about it later.
We have you as an astronaut. Good. And I see all the major stuff. Do you know I got cancelled almost? Like a bunch of Serbs joined my live chess live and just started saying things. I would get demonetized. She would probably
Oh.
get her live taken off TikTok if I didn't tell her what they were saying. I single-handedly saved this girl's entire career.
Oh, wow.
Where's my Nobel Peace Prize?
Good for you, Jacob. It's a team effort, and you won that day.
Yeah. They can call me racist, but I understand their language. I am from their I speak the same language as they do.
Good
Okay,
job.
now anyways, Chelsea, you do you. You're kind of just there. Bye.
Aw.
The audacity.
The audacity. You know he loves you.
I know. For like a whole second, you were peeking up over my head, and I was like, hee.
Yep.
I can't
All right.
contain my happiness right now.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome. I think I'm going to move myself up and cover the spaceship a little bit.
How tiny can you make the circle? I'm trying to figure out if I can actually get you into the astronaut head. Oh my god. Oh my god.
That's about it.
Do it. Yes. Yes.
Hi, everyone.
Do it. I love it so much.
Okay, we can work with it. Conversation to or from what? Usually deconversion or conversion stories from or to a religion, but it could be anything. Maybe you are convinced that shoot, what's the word I'm looking for?
The earth is flat or flat?
No, I don't want to have that conversation. What is it when you do something bad and it comes back to you? Karma. Do you think karma is real? I think karma is a good topic to talk about. If you believe in karma or the great juju in the sky or whatever, anything. Really, I want to hear your story. Yeah, luck. Do you believe in luck? What is luck? How does it apply? How is it useful? I like that idea.
Superstitions and stuff.
Yes, I love talking about superstitions. I think
that's
some of them are I think some of them are valid, like don't walk under a ladder. Do you know why? Because a hammer could fall on your head. Don't ask me how I know that. But some superstitions, like why do we knock on wood? That one just baffles me. Why do we say bless you when you sneeze? Anyway, yeah, the box is available. People, come on in.
People thought that you were going to die. They thought your soul was leaving your body and coming back when you sneezed.
Right, or is that just the story that we tell each other? What's the truth?
It was like an old fable. Like that's what they thought. They thought like your soul was leaving your body or whatever, and they were like, "Oh, God bless you, bring you back."
Someone said umbrellas and doors may poke an eye out. You're absolutely right. Like there's logic behind some of them. I can just picture a 6-year-old running around with an umbrella in the house and people getting hurt. Yes, we want to avoid that. So mom or dad said, oh, well, you can't do that because it's bad karma or bad luck, or you're like, don't break a mirror because you'll get 7 years bad luck. You have to put your right sock on first. Ooh, interesting. So after your socks come out through the wash, how do you know which is the right and which is the wrong sock? I mean, left sock.
Ooh, that's a good point. In Italy, there are so many superstitions that this woman has with an Italian husband spends all of like her entire TikTok channel is just doing them to make him uncomfortable.
Mm.
And she's got lots of viewers, so I mean, there's a lot of them.
Yeah. Looking at the what? The toe seam? Oh, by looking at the toe seam, you can tell which is the right and which is the wrong sock. You need therapy. We have a guest. Hello.
Hello there.
What's on your minds today?
Well, pain. But that's because my body's falling apart.
Oh.
I was just curious as to, like, what the conversion/deconversion means? Because, like, there's so many topics that could fall under that.
Yeah, do you have one in mind, or you just want me to, like, describe what I mean?
Yeah, please describe what you mean.
Yeah, so some people will make the claim, like, oh, this child is born a Christian, but I don't think anyone is born a Muslim or Hindu or Christian. This is a learned behavior. So a conversion is when a person accepts a religious belief or claim and they become a Christian or a Hindu or Jain or whatever. So if you have a conversion story or a deconversion story that you would like to share, then I'm interested in listening.
Oh, okay. For me personally, what deconverted me from Christianity was actually reading the Bible.
Yeah.
Like sitting down, going cover to cover, and just realizing how horrifying that book is. And
that's how all atheists are made.
I'm not atheist.
It's really? Where did you land?
Yeah.
I landed in paganism.
And can you describe paganism for us? Because I feel it's one of those terms that doesn't have a really good definition.
For me personally, it's just more going outside of a organized religion. Yeah. Would be considered like more paganistic, if I'm going to be quite honest.
Yeah, well, the basic definition is a religion that is not of the majority religion. And that's just so obtuse to me. So paganism is one of those definitions that can mean radically different things to different people.
Yeah. I went into polytheistic paganism. And
So
basically what that means is I believe
Yeah.
it all exists, but I work within 3 religions mainly.
Okay. And what are those religions, if you don't mind sharing?
Norse. Actually, no, I work with 2 mostly. Norse and Greek.
Okay.
Because
Does it help explain? Does it help you to understand the natural processes of the world, or is it more of just like a moral guidance thing, or what utility do you get from these beliefs?
honestly, just a more of a sense of like belonging and companionship. No, that is a common misconception of that. They're not white supremacists. Not all of them are a part of the WS.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you responding to the text or something?
Yeah.
I'm so I wasn't paying attention.
No, you're fine.
Someone was getting a little aggressive-y in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's keep it civil. This is a safe space for everyone,
Yeah.
unless you're being obtuse,
But
and then you get the boot.
I was just gonna say Chelsea is
because
the hammer, so don't make the
yeah.
hammer angry.
Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
Do you interact with many people that share this belief? Is it part of your
I do
community?
actually. It's
Yeah.
surprising how many people I can actually talk to who are a part of the religion that I'm in.
Interesting.
Because and also they're a lot kinder if the gods
Do you truly believe so?
yes.
Sweetie, do you know what a blood eagle is?
I do, but they treat me
How?
nicer than what God did.
Yes, but people being kinder does not
No,
make
I'm
their
more
God
talking about the
kinder.
gods that I follow.
No, I know. But the gods, and trust me, I have two. I'm actually Norse myself. I don't follow or practice, but I do have family members that do. We all throw axe. We practice. We try to keep the traditions and stuff alive, which is cool. Brian's seen some of my axe throwing videos, so I'm pretty cool. Yeah, I'm pretty awesome. My brother wears a hammer, like he does. He believes. But kindness is like going down south and people being kind to you and love bombing and overwhelming you with love does not change the fact that you have to ground a belief system in into reality. Like what makes you believe this over walking on water? Like what changes? Is it purely community and finding like refuge? And if it's a historical belief, then yes, but to truly believe that these things are happening and that someone is creating thunder and lightning is a different thing.
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
what level of depth do you really believe that these gods exist? And maybe I'm being really assuming, but do you sincerely believe that these gods like Thor and Zeus are literally real, or is it more of a metaphorical exercise to you?
I do believe that all gods and deities exist or have existed at one point or another because it would make the most sense given a historical standing because there are so many religions that have stayed for long periods of time
Yeah, but
that
But is that evidence, though, that the gods were literally real? Or is that
No, but
I would say that's called the fallacy of popularity. Like, just because a vast majority of people believed that the earth was flat at one point in time doesn't make it any more true. Just because lots of people believed in Thor or Zeus or Odin, I mean, maybe they were people at one point and they were really friggin' awesome. They were super strong, or they made the best hammers,
Like
or hey, like
Hercules was in
Hercules.
fact a man.
Hercules was a man born of a god. His father was a god, and his mother was human,
No,
right? Or no, that's
supposedly he was cursed to be human and was stolen from the gods.
that's different from what I was just reading in. Where is it?
Really?
Oh shoot, I don't have it. Yeah, I was reading ahead in that Bart Ehrman book, and he was talking about the different types of deities, how people were deified. Either they were human and then turned into a god. Sometimes they were human and then turned into a god after death. Sometimes they were born of a god parent and a human parent, or sometimes they were from the heaven and descended to earth. There are so many different ways to deify.
I thought Hercules was one of the ones that he was like stripped of his powers, came to earth, and then became a god after he died.
no. So that's actually Disney's rendition of the story. That's not what happened.
Hey, it was a joke.
We don't talk about Disney here.
Oh,
it was a joke.
I'm sorry. I have a hard time dealing with jokes because I don't quite understand most of them.
No, I get it. Me too.
It was a Disney joke. It's okay.
I often have that problem. I grew up in a pretty sarcastic household, so I pick up on sarcasm almost instantly. But sometimes people make jokes, and I'm just like, that's not funny. I know you think that's a joke, but that's insulting or stupid or whatever. I'm sorry. I digress.
Or dehumanizing.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's the Disney version. I know that Disney is vastly wrong.
Yeah. Sorry, my brain is just like,
that's Disney. No, I know. That's the Disney version. Yeah, Disney likes to fluff up and I mean, Meg, great. Songs, awesome. Not accurate.
Yeah, no.
No.
Oh, it was right here. It was the history of Hercules.
Yeah.
We did a Disney trivia on here, and I'm the Disney. I forget Brian doesn't.
Speaking of Disney, and like I saw somebody like talk about Marvel. Did you hear the theory that Thor's actually the one that's adopted in the Marvel series? In the Marvel series,
which would make sense. Okay, but that would make sense to be fair, because his sister and his brother do look alike, but Thor truly came from his mother. I mean, they even like that would bother me so much.
Yes, but with how much Loki was lied to as a child, who's to say that Odin didn't do Thor the same way?
Like they couldn't have any children after Freya?
Yeah.
Oh.
All right,
think about it.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead. I thought Brian was looking.
Because, one, there's so many similarities within Loki and Hela in the series.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry, it's Helena. What did I say? Freya, right? That was wrong. I'm sorry. I know what you meant. I'm so sorry. It's Helena. You are 100% correct.
Okay, this is...
Go ahead. Sorry, Brian.
One, there are so many similarities with just color scheme alone. Right?
And they're supposed to be bad. Then that's what Disney does.
I know. Like lime green is a color in Disney is a colorant of evil. If we look throughout all of it, lime green, it always means the bad guy.
Brian's gonna be really mad when I start turning Lisa into the Avengers.
Yeah, please don't.
But
if I get a Lisa
there's
Iron Man
also we have to look at their costumes. Like,
well, yeah, right. Yeah, when you examine film, or in this case, animation,
no, this one
have
is film, not animation, because I'm talking about the live action movies.
Okay, still, the point is, when you are a playwright, when you're a screenwriter, when you're writing a script for a movie, you have to have a beginning and the end. So what you fill in the middle has to fit a certain style. Like there has to be a certain progression for every good movie has the same progression. There's always backstory, some kind of conflict, and then your protagonist overcomes the conflict, or they fall in love, or right. So when you take old mythology and insert them into this this machine
Disney,
that is a movie, right? You have to use shapes or colors or other stylistic methods to show, well, this is the enemy or the bad guy, and this is the hero or the good guy. There's a formula to this. Anyway, this isn't the part I was looking for, but I want to read it anyway. This is page 37 from Bart Ehrman's How Jesus Became God. Yeah, real quick.
Mention that you actually work on film, like that you are a knowledgeable person, and that like that you are a good person to ask about this. Brian actually worked in the film industry, like
a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I was a special effects technician for a major production in New Zealand for 5.5 months. So it's not like many years of direct experience, but I went from being like the grunts to literally running the special effects department for days at a time when my boss was off on some other special group. I was the guy with the radio calling the shots. It was fantastic. Anyway, the pagan stories, of course, can be found in ancient Greek and Roman mythology. One interesting example, which can serve to illustrate this point, is the account told by the Roman author Ovid of the contemporary incarnation of Jupiter and Mercury. The word incarnation here means being made fleshly. In other words, a divine spiritual being who became a fleshly human being temporarily. This story narrates how Jupiter and Mercury came down and began to associate with people who were living in the area of Asia Minor, which in modern day today is Turkey. This is recounting, then, the incarnation, the coming in the flesh of these gods, according to the account in Ovid, who was one of the great authors of Roman antiquity, an author who lived from 43 BCE up to 17 BCE. What's that make him? 40, 30? 20-something years old. He was like 28 years old. That's when... No, who lived from 43 to 17. Man, and people claim that they were older back in the day. Like Noah, 600 years old. Yeah, right. So, he was writing when Jesus was a young man. According to Ovid, famous 15-volume book, The Metamorphosis, there were all sorts of instances in which divine beings became mortal, including this particular story, in which Jupiter, the thief god, and Mercury, the messenger of the gods, temporarily both took on human form and visited the region of Asia Minor. According to this account in Ovid, the two gods came down and tried to find a place where they could rest after walking around for a very long time. In the area of Phrygia, Phrygia, nobody would take them in until an elderly couple, Philemon and Bacchus, welcomed them into their homes, and when they did so, the gods revealed themselves and said, "We too are gods," they said. "This wicked neighborhood of yours shall pay just punishment for not taking them in. But to you there shall be given exemption from this evil. And that's all I want to read right now. I mean, yes, he was a flawed person too. Bart Ehrman made mistakes, but you know what? He reads the text. He reads the original, as close to original ancient texts in Hebrew and Greek as possible. And that's the stuff I want to dive into more. How do we believe that these gods are real? What role did they play in our early history? And how do they morph into the vapid creatures that they are today?
Fair.
Yeah. So I've got some more guests waiting to come up. Do you have a final thought to share before I get to our next guest?
No. I'm just gonna drop down. So.
Right on. Thanks for sharing. I appreciate you.
No problem.
We have somebody called. I don't actually know what all the words are, but she said I think she said she's going to get a cup of coffee and then she'd love to share her story.
Hello, welcome. What's on your minds today?
Well, hey, this Pastor A-Train, I'll be coming over when y'all be doing those little question answer stuff. Sometimes be blowing my mind. All right.
Yeah, I like blowing minds. They're good to blow.
I'll be right back, Brian. Okay.
Okay.
Let me and I'm understanding what you're asking, right?
Can you please speak right into your microphone? You're a little mumbled.
Okay, can you hear me better now?
Yes, much better. Thank you.
Okay, check this out. Fairy tales mess me up. Is this like what we're talking about? Like,
it can be if you want to. Yeah, some of the fairy tales and nursery rhymes are dark.
Yeah. So I was wondering if that's like the deep conversation. I went and read the book on Brothers Grimm about the fairy tales. I'm like, oh my God. And I was
yeah, like Ring Around the Rosy, Pocket Full of Posy, Ashes, Ashes, We All Fall Down. They used to carry flowers in their pockets to help mask the stench of the plague, the Black Death, the bubonic plague. It unalived so many people that the entire, like, they couldn't deal with all of the bodies. They were literally rotting everywhere. It was disgusting. And we have these nursery rhymes and fairy tales to remind us of the horrors. Is that what you were getting at?
Yeah, and actually that was the actual one I was thinking about when I saw your thing at the top. And I heard some other people talking. Well, I'm just going to ask them anyway if that's the same thing, because I read like the Brothers Grimm stories and how they had like we had like Mary Had a Little Lamb, and then you go read Brothers Grimm, and that lamb wasn't no joke. Turned out that the lamb was really like a stalker, and
yeah, I've never taken a deep dive into it, but I do know that a lot of the nursery rhymes and other stories like that are they have a very morbid past. So do you have a conversion or deconversion story you'd like to share with us, or did you just want to bring that up?
That's better. I was bringing it up because I was thinking like that was like one of my deconversion type story, because I was like really into nursery rhymes and using nursery rhymes as like a little support system and encouragement. Then I turn around and read the Brothers Grimm and I'm going like, man, I ain't telling these nursery rhymes no more.
Yeah.
So, that was kind of like my deconversation type deal where I changed my whole conversation about what I thought about that. But then when I heard them talk about like what you guys were talking about, paganism, and you read the part about the story of Jupiter, I started thinking about stuff like how did our minds do accept certain things as what we call our religion, our God, because what one person might call evil and awful, the next person might call good and great. So that's what I was thinking about when I actually wasn't thinking about that at first till the last guest came up and they said they read the Bible and they were horrified. And I'm like, what did they read? Because I missed something,
Oh yeah. Well, just if you read the story of Lot critically, it basically it means a radically different thing to me. I hear a story of a man who SA'd his two daughters. The wife found out, so he unalived the wife, hid her body in the caves, and then the townspeople came to know what happened, and he just fled. And he said, "Oh, the angels are gonna they God is just going to destroy the whole." Maybe this guy was also an arson. I don't know, but the way the story has been morphed
I never thought of it like that before.
right.
Oh. No, I never thought of it like that before. I'm like, man, what did this do with the arson?
I don't know, of course. This is just me
No, I just,
speculating. But when you read a story and don't take it at face value and think about what could this actually be describing, the imagination is allowed to wander and wonder.
I get it. Because,
Yeah.
it's like I say, like, one person might read something one way and get one thing, and a person reads something. Like, I would have never thought of I'm just, when you start talking, I'm like, man, I never thought of it like that. But
Yep.
I think it's like how we're raised and how we perceive things and
Well,
how we grow up in it, how we
yeah.
look at it.
Stay skeptical. Always
Yeah.
question. Always wonder. Always doubt. Doubt is a good thing.
Yeah. And I also like the drawing in the background.
Yeah. So,
Did you, I
quick.
know you said you were an animator. I was like, did you come with that yourself or did
No, I am not an animator.
like
Chelsea, my favorite co-host, she has an AI app, an artificial intelligence app that you can put words in, and it searches Google, and it comes up with all kinds of images and stuff. And there's a YouTuber. I'm trying to remember his name right now. Anyway, he is also an atheist, and he makes a lot of atheist content. And he uses he came up, as far as I know, he came up with Lisa the rainbow giraffe who poops universes, and she, leaf be upon her, is the creator of our universe and everything we know. So I'm just kind of running with it. Chelsea and I are bringing it
okay,
to a new
gotcha.
level.
Now I am a Christian, but I be intrigued by a lot of stuff that I see. And that's why,
Yeah, good.
so I always say, like, where did they come up with this? My mind always wondered, like, where did somebody come up with this from? And how did they get, how you broke down like a beginning, a middle, and an end, and a backstory. And that's how my mind kind of runs when I see stuff.
Yeah,
Like, okay, where did this come from? What's the backstory on it? Does it make sense? Or
right.
am I going to keep it or am I going to throw it out? That's how my mind works when I look at stuff. But then some stuff, even though I don't believe it's true, I think it's cool. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So,
Well, thanks for sharing your thoughts. Final thought before I get to our next guest.
oh no, that's all. That was the main thing I was looking at because I really came. I thought y'all was having another trivia thing when you popped up in my name, but dude, when I saw that giraffe, I'm like, where did dude get this one from?
Yeah, what is
Soon
going
enough,
on here?
soon enough, we definitely need to do another trivia night.
But pretty much that was it. I just wanted to holler at you since there weren't that many people in the box. I thought I'd jump up and holler at you right quick
Well,
because
I
I usually
appreciate
don't get in
you.
the box. But
Yeah, come again, my friend. Be
all
well.
right, peace.
Much love, everyone. Yeah, please tap that screen. Thank you so much. More likes equals more viewers. We want to. Hey, 69 viewers. Nice.
Brat.
We had a Bobby waiting to get in, and then they disappeared. Bobby, try again. They were waiting a while, too. I'm going to give Bobby just a chance. Just a couple more seconds. Oh, there goes Robbie. Oh, Robbie's back, but not Bobby. Where'd Bobby go?
Brian, are you really talking gay conversation?
Am I?
Something that someone just said in the chat.
Oh, conversion.
Oh, I'm
no,
sorry.
We can if you really want to, but that is not my intention.
I looked at it so quickly as it was going up and down, and I was like, what?
I thought you were joking, or I thought you were serious. I was just going to share my story, but I won't.
Well, if you want to, then we're happy to listen.
No, that's okay. I thought it was serious. I didn't know it was a joke. Sorry about that.
Yeah, maybe we should have put religious conversion or deconversion before the words.
Yeah, so I was just going to share my deconversion story, but that's okay. Sorry.
No.
That's okay.
I want to hear. She said she had a real deconversion story.
If they're not comfortable sharing, then that's fine. But this is a safe place. This is a safe space. We can use kind language and listen attentively. If you want to share your thoughts, then it doesn't have to be about religion. We can really talk about whatever you guys want. Hello.
Hey,
welcome.
Hey. Thanks. So are you talking about religious deconversion or conversion?
Yes, but not exclusively.
Right. Okay, I see. So I'm a big fan of Lisa. I started following Lisa, and the creator of our universe, and I love the story.
Be upon her.
Yeah. No, but it's great. I really enjoy watching you. I didn't realize that after meeting you the first time on a few of these lives that you had such a popular audience following you. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've only been on TikTok since like June or July, and I am floored every time I get these great responses and people reaching out to me and just being here, hanging out. Really, I appreciate the audience more than you guys realize. So yeah, what's on your mind?
So
I guess
hold on just 1 second. So the girl popped out because she said she thought that we were joking. We're not joking. We are very serious. The Lisa thing is a joke on the spaghetti monster. That is the only joke. We are truly serious on having the conversation. Lisa and the spaghetti monster are just things that we talk about to try and make people who have entered or exited religion more comfortable talking about things like trying to understand the difference between Jesus or like fairies or unicorns or like it is just a placeholder. We are truly serious though, and we just try to make light of conversation, but we are not joking. We truly are in a safe place, and I'm sorry if you felt like we were trying to push you out. I truly, we are not.
Yeah, well said. Well said.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess I grew up in a Pentecostal church, and so we were pretty I was pretty deeply immersed inside the church.
Yeah,
and
the Pentecostals are an animated bunch, aren't they?
Yeah, dude, I didn't realize as a kid how crazy it was for me to be a part of this, because my parents were kind of teaching me about it. And because I truly I loved and trusted my parents, I kind of thought what they were trying to show me was right, if you know what I mean. And I guess because of this, it kind of kept me bound within the religious belief that they were putting onto me. And not only that, all of my sort of further family were also super hardcore Christians at this stage when I was younger. And I was pretty scared to question them. And every time I did, I kind of got a negative response from them, and so it kind of kept me in my place for years. And I guess it took me some time to be able to stand up for myself and start to push and ask these questions without being afraid. And I guess that the effects of which religion had on me lasted until like my mid-20s, and the sort of, I guess you can call it the sort of, I don't want to sound rude, but the brainwash that was put upon me, it took me so long to let go of it. And I don't know if it was the same for any of you guys, but it definitely was pretty intense. There was a lot of fear based on keeping me there. So I guess, for example, my parents told me that there were demons inside the wall of our house. And
wow.
And I remember being an 8-year-old kid being too afraid to go to bed because I was scared that I was going to get possessed by a demon. And the kind of trauma that has on a child is pretty, I don't know. I was screaming at the top of my lungs, and I was like, I don't want to go to bed. I'm afraid of the demons. And I really believed at this point that there were demons in the walls. But I don't know. It's pretty crazy. And I don't follow the church anymore. And when I started asking questions, I guess that kind of helped me to see and compare to my reality that I'm experiencing, because I kind of had people telling me what my reality was.
Right. Well, when we're children, we are wired to listen to our parents and the authoritative figures in our life. That's part of our evolutionary survival mechanism, right? When your parents tell you something, like eat your veggies, yeah, you might not like them as much as the tastier foods, but you listen to them, right? So when they're telling you horror stories like there's demons in the wall, of course, a 7, 8, 9-year-old child who has a very active imagination takes those stories literally true. And it's a another horrific example of how religious ideas that are based on nothing, just conjecture and stories and ideas. If anyone's making things up, it's the religious that are coming up with these traumatizing ideas.
Yeah. And that's the problem, is I don't think my parents intentionally were trying to put fear in me. They truly believe this stuff as well. Well, this is what I get. And I always think that they believe in it because it gives them hope that when they die, there's going to be something after death. And I guess that kind of also kept me bound to Christianity for a long time. But once I became content with being okay that when I die, this might be the end, then it kind of gave me a bit of freedom. And I guess in the sense that I could start trying to live my life here on earth and live it to the fullest, rather than trying to sort of obey some rules set out by this religion to try and earn my place in heaven, or to get to know Jesus Christ at the time, And now that I don't care anymore, it is kind of like a relief, if that makes any sense. But I guess
it is. Yeah, the freedom of thought, the ability to be comfortable in your own head and not worry that some sky wizard is judging you for your own thoughts. It's liberating. It's liberating.
Yeah, totally. And I guess the hardest thing about also coming, like, sort of letting go of that, it came with like my whole worldview, which I believe when I was a Christian was just completely wiped away from under my feet. And then I had to try and figure out how reality actually worked and try to sort of fit myself in so that I could build some kind of worldview that made sense to me, And I guess that kind of was my motivation to at least start studying and learn about science and to go to do my studies in physics and ultimately work towards becoming an astrophysicist. So, it once I let go of that, it opened up a whole new world of the universe, which I find super, super fascinating and far more how do I say, far
rewarding,
more... Yes.
intriguing,
Yeah.
captivating, awe-inspiring. It's amazing. Yeah. I hear you, man.
And I'm super glad that I let go. I let go of it, because I found something that actually has given me far more fulfillment than church ever did. In fact, I found church boring first. Sorry, and then also nothing made sense to me. And especially when people were speaking in tongues and they were like casting demons out of people, I was just like, what the hell's going on here? And I always felt like that I was the weird guy, because I couldn't force myself to pretend to be speaking in tongues. I don't know. And so I didn't feel like I fit in from the start, but blah, blah, blah. I don't want to rant on too much, man.
Well, I thank you so much for your story, and come back again sometime, okay?
For sure. All right, man. Thanks.
Be well. Oh, we had a bunch of guests waiting. Please come back. The box is open. Chelsea, what's your thought?
Can we talk about how disrespectful ideas do not deserve respect?
Yeah, I think people deserve respect. Well, most people. I think there are some people that have proven that they are not worthy of respect, right, through their deeds and actions. But ideas, concepts, just opinions do not deserve respect at all.
Terrence makes me happy.
Hello.
Terrence. Hello. How are you today? What's on your mind?
Good. Oh, not much. I was just trying to see what y'all were talking about. I agree that the not every idea deserves respect.
Well, do you think any ideas deserve respect? And let's define respect. Let's define ideas, and let's see how they interact with each other.
Oh yeah. There's I would say not idea.
You disappeared. Where'd you go? I can't hear you at all.
All right, hold on. Give them a second. Maybe they have an internet problem. But I would like to talk about how people cannot get mad when other people don't believe in their imaginary friends. And it's hard for some people to understand. But they do not have to give your imaginary friend respect if they don't believe in it. They can respect you and not respect your imaginary friend for their atrocities. So, it's hard for people. But if someone truly does not believe what you believe, then you cannot force them to respect something.
Right. I mean, it's just like people, right? I mean, to me, it's just like, hi guys. Anyway, how you guys doing?
Hi.
Haven't seen you in a while.
Hello.
Hello. It's concepts. It's just like people. You have to earn respect, right? Like what I do for a living. I'm a psychologist. I have to earn, and I have to sell that concept, correct? Because it's a concept. And if you don't believe in me and you don't believe in a concept, then it's not going to work.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's a concept. Everything's a belief, just like your beautiful giraffe.
Thank you. Thank you.
So see, that's a deity I can get behind. I can get behind that deity. I can get behind that.
See? Right?
Lisa loves all equally.
I love it. It's much prettier than the spaghetti monster.
Yes.
Infinitely
so.
In fact, have a photo somewhere of the spaghetti monster riding Lisa, but that's a different time and a different story.
Yeah. Well, I used to have the strainer on my head, when they were trying to get driver's license, and I almost did that. I almost got my driver's license with a strainer on my head. There it is. I love it. Yeah.
I think there's a time and place for ridicule and scorn, especially when it comes to bad ideas. But we also have to try to keep in mind the intense emotional connection that people have with their religion. A religion. If you grew up in a religious household and community, then your religion is your life. It's your livelihood, it's your friends, it's your family, and to challenge those ideas can be profoundly traumatic.
Yes, because I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, to leave faith, to lose your faith and endeavor in free thought is a very big struggle for a lot of people. And that's why I like having these conversations, to share our stories so that it's less frightening, it's less traumatic.
Right. I agree with you 100% there, because it's called indoctrination for a reason. I mean, can you imagine these when, especially when I cannot relate to what you guys have gone through. Okay. I can understand it. I didn't have a religious experience. My parents were very secular, but I mean, can you imagine as a child, and I'm sure you can, because it's probably happened to you, that the same mother or father who tells you that the stove is hot and you touch it and you realize they're telling the truth also tells you there's a magical sky daddy who's watching you and you're going to go to hell if you commit sins. Imagine the trauma that child is going through after that.
So Brian and I were both really lucky, but
Good.
I have a nephew who is 3 years old and is having night terrors, and both of his parents are extremely religious and can't figure out what possibly he could be afraid of.
Right. They don't get it because you know what?
It.
They don't get it because they're teaching their child how to think, not what to think. I mean, what to think, not how to think. You need to teach your children critical thinking. Let them experience things on their own. Let them understand. You know, if a child becomes a Christian after they're sentient without your exposure to it, then that's what they want to be. But if you force it on them, I mean, there's some I can't remember the exact age, but if you look up, it's something like 8 to 14. If you look that up, it'll show you that's what the church is. That's where the churches aim at. They shoot for the 8 to 14-year-old kids so that they can be, it's basically to keep their business alive. They want them to come in and tithe.
Do you know that there is like Bible study daycare, Bible study preschool, Bible study, like why?
And they don't teach evolution. Or they'll say, hey, this is just an opinion. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
And in a culture, in a world where childcare is more and more expensive and most people can't afford it anymore, all of a sudden that very inexpensive, if not free, church daycare program is more and more appealing. Never mind the fact that when children are indoctrinated, their brains physically change. Their neural pathways, their networks physically embed the ideas, the notions, the concepts of God, heaven, and hell, and the whole thing, right? Of course, it depends. Every church, mosque, synagogue, temple does this with their personal flavor of religion. But when a child is captivated in that developmental stage in their life, their brains are physically wired to believe. And furthermore, reject critical thought, ignore skepticism, believe that doubt is a bad thing. This is a mind virus that is very pervasive, and it's hard to get out. A lot of people never get out of it. And that's a tragedy to me.
No. And I mean, look, I'm going to, children, I may disagree with you a little bit about children, I think they're taught to be naive. I mean, if you look at children in a whole, children are skeptical. That's why you never hear the guy in the white van without candy, because they have to be tempted, right? So when you're tempted, then you're drawn in, and that's when you kind of want to buy into it, because other people around you've grown to trust, like your Sunday school teachers. Surely they wouldn't teach me a bad thing. And what you don't understand is they are. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think most of these people that are in churches nowadays don't actually believe, but they're caught up in it, and they do not want to admit that they've been fooled.
Yeah,
so they keep the delusion going.
The cost sunk fallacy. Yeah, when you invest so much time and energy and resources into a bad idea, and then you realize it's a bad idea, you're still motivated to continue in that idea because of the amount of time and energy and resources you've sunk into it already.
Yes, absolutely. And comparative psychology will show you that that most churchgoers, most Christians or believers, they're also the ones who fall for these pyramid schemes. They're also the ones who fall for like the Trumps. They become Trumpers.
We were having this conversation earlier, is
And they're
that
flat earthers. Most of them are flat earthers. Some of them are flat
yes.
earthers. Yeah.
So we were actually having this conversation is that it is so much easier for someone to go from walking on water and blood to wine to flat earth and moon and sun being in the same place at the same time. Like it is not that far when the education of magic and like fantasy is already ingrained into their society. When fact and fiction are like so like there's such a
Blurred.
blurry line. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. When
Yes.
there's such a blurry line and like parting a sea is not something that I've ever witnessed.
No, and they won't admit that supernatural events are a suspension of nature. They won't say that. So they don't want to. When I tell them like, "Have you ever experienced a miracle?" and they'll say yes, and I'll say, "So you've actually seen nature suspended before your eyes?" No, 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 no. Then explain to me what you're talking about. Like the tears falling out of the Virgin Mary statue. That's supernatural. Okay, and I'm going to show you simply by educating you that we can remove these supernatural events and we can actually show a reason for it. There's a reason for everything. And to me, it's just religion is simply ignorance, because once knowledge comes in, that religion starts to fail. It's the same thing as when Zeus, they believe Zeus brought lightning out of the sky. As soon as we found out that lightning didn't come from a god, they don't say that anymore. Nobody says God creates the lightning from the sky except for the extremist.
You
The
would
extremist.
be surprised.
I would just push back in the small way and say that faith is ignorance, not religion. It's, again, going back to my statement earlier, religion is a deeply emotional connection for people, but faith is the weak link. When you can demonstrate how faith is unreliable, untestable, that's the wedge that you can use to get to reason.
Right. And correct me if I'm wrong, but is faith not believing in something without facts? Isn't that what faith is?
It depends who you ask. Faith is one of those ambiguous words, right?
Yeah,
it means something different to everyone.
Right. And I always try to
of the word.
Yeah, I always try to tie it down whenever I have some kind of philosophical argument with someone. Like, okay, here's the words that we have to define. You have to tell me what faith is. What faith means to you, and are we going to automatically assume that God exists? Do you automatically want? Do you want us to claim that? Because if you do, then I'm going to claim the universe is immortal. So they hate when you do that, because when you do that, they're going to say, well, we need proof that the universe is immortal. But yet they're making the claim that God is immortal. They don't want to provide the proof. So it's you have to define those things. Especially to me, I'm going to be honest with you guys, it really bothers me. I think theists or believers or whatever you want to call them, they simply are trying to hijack philosophy, science, psychology to make their myth reality.
Well, keep in mind that their parents, their pastors, the people that led them in and nurtured their belief, they were lied to too.
Right.
This is a long history of people telling falsities, not necessarily with the intention to deceive or to lie, but they sincerely believe things that just aren't so, because they were told these stories and these ideas, because they didn't know, they didn't have telescopes and microscopes, right? The printing press wasn't invented until what, 1440?
And they get insulted when you tell them this is Iron Age stuff. This is Iron Age stuff you're believing in. I don't know if it was your life. I think it was, but it was beautiful. I think how you put it. You kept saying, can you change belief into magic, the word magic, and just change it into the word magic? Was that you that did that?
No, but I like that idea.
I do too. And when they did that, it was so funny, because every time they kept trying to say, well, I have faith. No. You have faith in magic. Magic. And it was because when you change those concepts, you change those words, they start thinking critically. They're thinking,
bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Yep. And that's my point.
Slam.
Yeah. Yeah. Instead of putting Jesus Christ, put the word Bigfoot.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you've heard, what's more reasonable to believe, that the laws of nature were suspended and a young Jewish girl was impregnated by God, or that a young Jewish lady lied?
Or she was a minx. And I believe that's Christopher Hitchens that said that, or there was a Jewish girl who was a minx. And it's actually kind of funny because if you actually think about those things, there's a lot of logical arguments about those, such as perhaps she got pregnant out of wedlock, she was trying to hide it, and Joseph was in on it, or or perhaps the Romans created it so there wouldn't be a Jewish God on earth, but in heaven. There's a lot of things that you can think about that really make sense.
Perhaps Mary and Joseph never existed at all.
Perhaps, right. Perhaps the whole thing is just made up, because, I'm not well versed in this stuff because, to be honest with you, I've read the Bible several times, but I read it like I did the Lord of the Rings. Okay. So, and I'll have Christians tell me, oh, you didn't read it as if it was real. And I said, but you know what? If I read the Lord of the Rings as if it was real, then there's descendants of hobbits. Perhaps everybody that was magical left Middle Earth. So perhaps it really existed,
Mordor.
The elves go to Valinor when they die, and they can be reincarnated in Middle Earth.
That's right. There you go. I believe in that better than I do than what the Abrahamic God says.
Oh
At least
Middle Earth. I'm putting Lisa in Middle Earth. Oh my God! My God.
Because I love Tom Bombadil. He's my favorite character because I honestly think Tom Bombadil is the creator of everything. He just doesn't give a crap. He's like
That's right.
So it's funny how you can take these beliefs and you can put them into any book. Harry Potter, you could say Harry Potter existed. I mean, come on, because the magical world is hidden from us Muggles.
Are you familiar with the Witcher story?
Yes, I love that. Yes.
Do you know who Gaunter Odim is?
No, who is he?
He was a character in The Witcher 3. Gaunter Odim, G-O-D. He's a trickster. He can stop time. He's basically Loki.
Yes.
And if you have a free minute, just go to YouTube and type in all Gaunter O''D''IM or D''IMM, all Gaunter Odim cutscenes. You'll be entertained.
I'm so going to check that out because I love stuff like that. Because have you guys ever watched the show Lucifer?
No, I don't think so.
Netflix, man, it is
yes,
beautiful.
I have, and I
love it. Don't you love Lucifer?
To show to Brian, I promise.
Oh my God, it is such a brilliantly written show. I love how Lucifer is supposed to become God, but he turns it down. But I won't ruin it for you.
Don't you dare.
Okay, don't.
No. Brian,
but it is brilliant.
You need to watch Nunges. Okay, it needs to. Okay, Warrior Nuns. It's on Netflix.
Warrior Nuns.
Oh my God.
What? Watch Warrior Nuns. What is there? 3 seasons or 4 seasons? I think it's 3 seasons, right?
Two.
That sounds like anime. Is that anime?
No,
nope.
It's live action. It's amazing.
It's friggin' awesome, dude. It's friggin' great. You got it. You gotta friggin' watch it, Bob. Jesus Christ, you gotta friggin' watch it.
I love it. My girls are 14 and 16, so they're huge into anime, right? My favorite. We have anime arguments, and they can't beat me because I say One Punch Man beats everybody. One Punch Man beats everybody. So my oldest daughter, my 16-year-old, she has this filter that can turn you into anime. Man, I wish the world was anime. The anime version of me is awesome, man.
I just want the world to be Star Trek. I just want to get to Star Trek.
Oh yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay, final question before we get to the next guest.
Okay.
And this is a serious question. Have you ever heard of the network called Recovering from Religion?
No, I have not.
They talk about it a lot on The Atheist Experience, which is one of my favorite YouTube shows about atheism and skepticism. I've recently reached out, and I'm considering being a volunteer for them. It's a help network. Call in or online. I don't know all the details. I'm just getting started.
Nice.
But since you already have a background in psychology, it might be right up your alley. Please,
I would do that. I will do that. And if my girlfriend if she's still in the comments, can you write that down for me? Ann, are you there? But you know what? Are they wanting someone with peer support? Because I can't relate to it. You know what I'm saying? But I could talk to someone about it.
I don't know. I'm just dipping my toe in. Maybe you've heard of their founder or one of the founders. Their name is he's a guest on the ACA all the time. Oh my goodness, it's RFR. RFR, recovering from religion. It's
RFR. Okay, okay. I'll remember that. RFR. That's easy to remember. Thank you. Yeah, I'll check into that. If they're not looking, if they, they may want someone with peer support, but if they want someone who can just understand it, oh, I would love to help them. I can even help them with the behavioral health side of it. But yeah, I would love to volunteer for that. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Thank you for letting me know about that. As always, you guys are awesome. Thank you for letting me up. I enjoy you guys so much, and I'll gladly go down and let the next guest come up. Thank you.
Honestly,
awesome.
honestly, I
Thank
kind
you.
of wanna when we do our next are these things real? I would love because we typically have more what's the nice way to put it, Brian?
Oh, I don't want to kick him out. He's trying to leave, I think. I'm sorry, Chelsea. What are you saying?
When we do are these things real topics, we have more um people that I feel not equipped to conversate with, and I think having someone like him in the conversation would be helpful. So it would be kind of fun maybe to do a live with him. So it might be interesting to because
Yeah, hey, DM me. Be in touch. Let's set up some live conversations together. To your schedule. Let me know when you're available. I love having psychologists and people that are open to talk about their experiences with learning that they are schizophrenic or I mean, when people have valuable stories to share or ways to compare the human existence, I think there's tremendous value in that.
a lot of times we do get people coming on here telling us that they have physically seen God, physically heard the voice of yes.
Yeah,
Blessed be his holy noodleness.
ramen, brother, ramen.
It
Oh,
was
you
the
just
tongue.
turning
It
off
was the
my
tongue.
camera to reduce traffic. Right. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you gotta speak right into your microphone, my friend.
Okay. Is it better?
Yes, thank you.
Much.
Okay. I know I have a headset, but I'm not sure if it's reading from the phone or from my headset. So okay, I'll be closer to the phone anyway. So just wanted to mention a couple of things. What you've said about religious people just being so used to this idea of being, of not they're very deep into it, and it's difficult to kind of even think of anything else. So this is kind of their way of thinking. I think in the psychology it's called continuation bias or plan continuation bias, right? Where it's a very known issue with pilots actually, and many air traffic accidents happening because of that. So because even if there's an error or some kind of a mistake that they make, they will keep en route, they will keep doing the same thing, even though they understand there's an issue, they'll keep doing it, right? And they will just get into the accident at the end, right? But they will just stick to the plan, and will go there. So uh, I just I don't know. I just wanted to share also maybe my story as well. And I was born in Soviet Union in a secular family basically, but as a teenager we immigrated to Israel, and there it was kind of a unique atmosphere and experience where you could say it's a peer pressure, and also the entire, the whole atmosphere in Israel, it's all like holy, and it's all surrounding the history, and like you see the Torah in front of you, all the temples and remains of the wall and everything. It's very appealing for, especially for non-developed, not fully developed young mind to get into it, right? And especially after we left Soviet Russia, which was pretty much a dictatorship back then, and now you're going out to the world, into the world, and you see like all this openness, but on the other hand, you see this kind of influence. It was kind of interesting experience, I would say so. And I spent about 20 years of my life being a believer. So that was also, a significant portion of my life. And I'd say I, 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 I didn't just became an atheist like momentarily, right? For me personally, it was a process. It was kind of an evolution, right, if you can say so. And I went through my bachelor degrees in engineering, and then I was still, you know, kind of adhering to the tradition. And but at some point, I went further on. I got my master's in medical sciences, so, and I actually started to see a different picture, right? Started to see some things that were naturally explained, easily naturally explained. It's not like I'm reading something. I'm reading a book, and then, well, like many religious people say, you've been indoctrinated into believing, or you're believing some authorities, and then they want you to they show you what they want to show you, and that's why you are thinking this is true. But I did, when you do master's degree, you do thesis, you need to actually perform experiments. And when you see how those things work on a molecular level, when you see how how the world, like this micro world and then the macro world, it unravels, it opens up to you, and you see the mechanism, underlying mechanism of life, right? Then, I mean, the ideas of creation, they're not as appealing, right? And I guess this is something that, but for me personally, this was something that kind of brought me to stop believing. And right, since then, I became, I'm pretty much, I still had some traditions. I try to follow some traditions because it's kind of, this is how Israel works, right? But after all, I find it to be controversial, the beliefs, right? And the most controversial idea in any world, in my, at least my world, was the idea of God being simultaneously transcendental, right, and also a present in the reality. It's called the I forgot the word.
Are you still in Israel right now?
No, I actually, about 7 years ago, I moved to Canada. So right now I'm in Canada.
Okay. I was going to ask what it's like to be a non-believer in Israel, and what the culture, how big of a taboo was it to be an outspoken non-believer? But 10 years ago, it's a long time.
No, it's slightly less, 6, 7 years, something like that. But I mean, there's a conflict. There's a constant conflict in Israel between the party that is pushing toward radicalization versus the more secular community, which is toward education and everything. And Judaism is a bit different. It's really, it's much more different than Christianity. But overall, somehow Israel can combine together high quality educational system and the religious beliefs. And they in fact they have university. It's basically religious university, which accommodates like many professors there, many students that go there. They are religious people, believers, right? Like wearing kippahs and praying 3 times a day. But they do science. They do actual science. Like they publish amazing, research, and that's kind of also a controversy that I see, right? But it happens. It works somehow, right? But then on the other hand, there are people in the government who are parties in the government who are trying to push toward radicalization. Let's say you have mandatory Sabbath, where Jews cannot work, and you cannot have like some ridiculous stuff like electricity company, Israel electricity company cannot produce. Oh, Jews cannot work on Saturday, right? On Sabbath, it's like
Right.
they're forbidden. Now, since half of the population or a third of the population they are religious Jews, they cannot use any product that is not holy, right? If let's say if electrical factory is working on Saturday, they cannot use the electricity on a daily basis because it's unholy. So they use all kind of tricks, automation, and non-Jews, right? That work
Yeah,
on Saturday.
I've actually studied
It's
the telephones. Remember, they used to make telephones that when they wanted to call out, if a Jew wants to call
right.
out on Saturday on the Sabbath, then they have a specially made telephone where if you want to dial a number, you're preventing the phone from automatically dialing the number, so that you're not technically making the work happen. You're
Yeah.
preventing work from automatically.
Yeah.
It's
No work.
some wild, bonky stuff. It's.
Yeah, I'll tell you one of the craziest things. Maybe like I'm sure 99% of people are not aware of that. I work in a medical field in the research, and then I work a lot in hospitals, and many hospitals, pretty much every hospital they have pathology department, right? And in most cases, all the morgues and then the storage and the all the departments they are underground, for
Yeah.
also like many reasons, right? In Israel, like
I'm here.
so okay, so
I want to check on
coins, religious like the Cohens, right? People who are priests, right? High priests. Anybody who has the family name of Cohen, they cannot be next to the dead body.
What?
Okay, so like it's unholy. This is the Jewish law. They cannot be
Because of their last name?
because they are holy.
Interesting.
They are like, and that's their unholy. So what they do in every hospital, you can look it up. Every hospital, every pathology department, everywhere where they have dead people or dead, the corpse or pathology or storage morgues, they have. It's called a soul catcher door. It's a soul door. It's a double door with
It's
automation. Double door. Double doors.
No. The soul catching part is where I had you, not the double door part,
Okay.
my guy. It was.
It's like an airlock, but a soul lock.
Yes. So you get in. If you go, so they can pass in the corridor without being exposed to the soul of that, which are separated with a double doors. And if I go to perform any kind of work in those departments, right? I go through this door. I stand in, like the first door opens. I get in, and there's like the door closes behind me. There's a delay, like timer delay, and then the second door can open, and I can get in. That's
in the soul.
Yes.
So the hospitals are full of trapped souls. They're full of trapped souls.
Every hospital in Israel have this type of devices, the mechanism, right? So that's
baffling to me. Can you imagine being a non-believer at all, walking into hospitals and being absolutely confused and baffled by like protocols and procedures? Like I cannot fathom having to be someone explain. Yeah, it catches souls. Like, what's wrong with you? Don't you know?
But people live in this reality. Let's say many, public transportation is not legally allowed to work on Saturday in Israel, and because again the work and the same reason, right? And people are used to it, and there's a conflict. There's always a conflict. There's always like somebody pushing for more public transportation or for private and in more religious areas, they just close the barricade areas, barricade the roads, right? So
Yeah.
there's a conflict, but
I
everybody
gotta
used to
interrupt.
it.
Hospital
Sure.
of Trapped Souls is a great metal song name. Or how about this? The Soul Lock.
Can I'm gonna
What
take a
what what
second.
happened?
I'm
What
gonna take a
happens?
second and see what
Okay.
I get from the AI when I flip a hospital full of traps.
What happens to the souls if the hospital burns down?
Oh, the issue with
Brian, good
fire
question.
and the bodies is very very complicated. So because like in Israel, and I've been in the Israeli army obviously. So the any time a Jew, right, a Jew, regardless of his beliefs, if a Jew dies, right, there's a specialized team. Okay, they're not doctors, but like they're the kind of paramedics. They go on scene and they collect every piece of remains, every piece of remains collect in that must be all of those remains must be buried, right? Must be
I
brought
have a question
together,
after this.
analyzed, identified, and buried. And this is and when the body is burned, because there's an issue with resurrection, right? Because the people are must be buried in order for them to be resurrected, right? And the thrive or the tendency is to have the complete set of all of your organs. That's why the organ donation is an issue in Israel. Even blood donation can be an issue, right? So it's all because every part of the body of your organism has this kind of soul in it, right? So if some part of your body is not buried once a person died, right? You might just not be able to rise from the dead. So, and there's an issue like with fire, especially. It's
There's
it's
some
a
Asian
real issue.
there's some Asian cultures that believe that if you're buried, let's say without your eyes, you're blind in the afterlife. If you're buried
Yeah,
without
a
that piece
punishment.
of you, that
Yeah,
you are either I don't want to say the word damned, but you are like eternally unresting soul. You will become an evil deity if you are not put to rest. Which,
yeah,
I mean, is understanding that someone would want their full family member, but like where the unease and all the uncomfortableness comes from surrounding death turned into like a horror story.
yeah. And in Israel, the death, there's a lot of circling around death. So and people, the animal sacrifice that was prohibited and still prohibited, but some because it's a tradition that was relevant during the temple times. Like when there's no temple, you cannot do. You're not legal by the laws of Judaism. You're not allowed to do animal sacrifice, and of course, animal sacrifice going back to the older tradition where they would sacrifice a people, right? Instead, and it was substituted with animal sacrifice. So there's a lot of into it, and a lot of circling around, transferring your scenes every year into this chicken. It's called the Kippur, how do you call it, the one day a year every
Yom
Jew
Kippur.
is Yom Kippur, right? So once a year, every Jew needs to ask for forgiveness, and instead of in order to be forgiven, you are to be written in the book of living every year, right? You need to transfer your sins into the chicken. It's ridiculous, but that's kind of it's there's a lot into it, and then a lot of things that were crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways, I thanks for having me. I have to go. Kids coming back from school, so I need to go
Well,
back
thanks for
to.
sharing. Yeah, I
Thank you very
appreciate your
much.
time. Be well. Be
Thank
well, my
you.
friend.
Yeah. Thanks. Good day. Bye bye.
Goodbye. Okay, the guest box is open. I want to let you leave. Yes, I didn't want to kick you. Someone was very gracious and gave you some coins. And I believe if I kick you, you don't get to keep the coins. I hope that TikTok changes that rule, because that seems
very soon, because
like a
that is
glitch.
in fact the thing. Because yesterday I accidentally popped out before I was supposed to.
Yeah.
It glitched me out. I didn't leave myself, and I did not get my 3 coins, which is 1 cent.
Shucks. Yeah. Yeah. 1 penny.
Ugh.
Yeah. Religions fascinate me. Oh, look. Look at that. Look at the hand hearts. Oh, my goodness. Oh, you're muted. Religions fascinate me. They truly do. To no end.
Oh, you guys are amazing. I just sent you something really scary. You should look at it.
Okay.
I think might be one of the creepiest things I've. Oh, did you see it? Did you see it?
No, whatever. Did you send it to my phone or through Discord?
I'll send it through.
Yeah, nothing's come through my. Sometimes my phone disconnects to the cell phone tower for like hours at a time, and I have to physically restart my phone before it will reconnect, and it's annoying. But I don't have that problem with Wi-Fi, so Chelsea and I use Discord for a lot of our communications. Praise the almighty Lisa. Yay, leaf be upon her. She is by far the most beautiful creator. There's no creator more beautiful than Lisa. Hello, welcome.
Hey guys, how are you doing? Hey Lisa.
Hey, no, leaf be upon her.
Peace be upon her. We love Lisa. What's up? I love
Yay.
you guys. You're amazing. I have so much fun watching you.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you watching us. It means a lot to me.
We love you guys too.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so it's an honor to share some little bit of my deconverse. Well, I've never been Catholic. Really, I'm Mexican. I'm in Mexico right now, and my family is Catholic to the bone. And when I was a little kid, they used to bring me to church all the time, and they had this Jesus in a crystal box, and it was a real size Jesus, all bleeding all over a white blanket, and it was really creepy. And they used to tell me, "This is God," and I was like, "Did he invented everything, including Super Mario and all the things I like? Because he doesn't seem to have so much fun in there." And never really believed in it, but as I grew up and discovered that this is all a Zionist hoax, all the Abrahamic religions are just meant for mind control, then I just dedicated my social media pretty much in a big way to expose the Zionist hoax that all of this is controlled opposition, and I think all religions are suffering from it because they are just being programmed to hate one another and butt heads like 9/11. I think there's a mastermind behind the 3 of the Abrahamic religions, and I hope it's over soon.
Well, buckle up. It's never going to be over. We'll never be rid of it. But the good news is that the fastest growing demographic is the non-religious. And I think there are a couple of factors for that demographic. The advent of the internet is certainly one of them. Information technology allows us to share our ideas and understandings, beliefs, and proofs better than ever before. It's literally a revolutionary technology. And because humans are curious and we're basically all online now, this is the meat grinder where bad ideas go to die. So that's a main And because people are becoming more and more skeptical to their faith-based belief systems, they are able to examine their churches and behaviors and ideas through a new critical set of eyes. And they're realizing that this is not the path to truth. They're being told that this is true, but then they can examine those claims and compare them to the rest of the worlds that we understand better than we ever have, right? We've never had telescopes or microscopes as powerful as we do now. So this is the human experience is a process of evolution, for sure, not just biologically, but sociologically and mentally too. Our brains, our conscious collective is evolving because of our new technological revolutions. Our new internet is leading to the end of fairy tales and mysticism and bad ideas. And
I don't know if you've watched Kids or if you have kids in your family, but my nieces and nephews and their friends and all of them, they just cannot take it. They don't believe in it. And my brothers and sister, they don't care about baptism and First Communion and all this Catholic paraphernalia. So they're pretty much quitting it and they're letting it go slowly and quietly, but nobody really buys into it anymore. And to me, it's amazing that in the United States, they're a lot of committed Christians that will still believe in talking snakes and 40 days of blood and all that as if it was science. And it's like super mind-blowing that they truly believe it's like that. We think it's metaphor, and we honestly think it's bullshit, and we have to let it go. And I really wish it's like that in the powerful countries, because the G7 countries are the ones that are going to really make a difference and stop engaging in Zionist wars like what's going on in the Middle East, I think.
Yeah.
I think, okay, so I have a brother who he has a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
And they are just talking about having them baptized right now because one of the elder family members on her side of the family is like, what do you mean you didn't baptize the children? But neither of them believe in any of that stuff. So are you really going to like go and like force these kids to do like baptisms and Sunday school and all this force these kids to do like baptisms and Sunday school?
You're just echoing for a moment. Someone's got an echo going.
Someone's got an echo going.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It was my sister calling me in, but I hung up on her. They're coming, and I have.
Someone's got an echo going. Go ahead. Okay. Have a good day.
I think it's my sister calling me in, but I hung up on her.
Sorry, everyone.
You're good.
Technical difficulties. Thank you so much for sharing. Really, really appreciate you. Come back another time.
I sent you one more, and someone in the chat asked what it was, and that one's even creepier than the last one.
Okay, so we were just talking with someone who let us know that there was such a thing as soul locks, double doors in hospitals in Israel to prevent the souls from escaping the hospital. So Chelsea, in her infinite wisdom, decided to put those parameters into her AI generating image program, and this is the creepy shit we get at.
I am definitely going to do that more because now I'm so invested in seeing what soul and ghost and what the AI thinks of soul and ghost, because that concept had not occurred to me because it's not something I believe in. So, bro, right? I put in very specific parameters, like trapped soul in hospital.
Wow.
And it like the on the ground covered in the like cloth and it's really interesting. Someone said I'd put that on a shirt, right?
Yeah.
It's creepy and cool. I'm liking the see-throughiness of it's fascinating. I'm gonna have to keep playing with that one. Yeah, this one, do you see that like there's missing faces?
Yes. Yes, they're all
that baffles me.
It's Mary.
I want to know what the floating thing in the air is because I don't know.
That's a soul trying to escape
Ah.
through the ceiling. They can't get through the door, so might as well try the ceiling, right?
Yeah, obviously the double doors were closed.
The guest box is open. What's the name of the app you use?
Oh, I gotta go back and look. I forgot already. I use Wonder, but I don't know if it's free anymore.
The Wonder app. What is this supposed to be? Yeah, we're just playing around with AI pictures. Some of them, like Lisa, are absolutely gorgeous. And some of them, like trapped souls in a hospital, are terrifying.
Terrifying.
Can you imagine being trapped inside of a Jewish hospital for decades trying to get out? But
Oy vey.
those Jewish engineers were just clever enough to make double doors that your soul can't penetrate.
That's really hard for me, and that just...
What's your deconversion story? Chelsea and I don't really have one. As far as I know, we were never believers. So Chelsea and I
I'm converting to Lyceism.
Lyceism. Ooh. Worse than jail, yeah. You'll have to ask a Jewish engineer or doctor to figure out if the souls are stuck,
What
trapped
are the doors
in the
made out
hospital
of?
forever. Unobtainium. Yeah.
Obviously some god magic soul proof material. What's wrong with you people?
Alisaism. Yes, we will dine in Aliciaism.
I've been working on the name for a while.
They fill the doors with holy water.
Obviously. Oh, could you
No
imagine how funny
vampires
that would
can
be?
get in. Yeah, why would they want to trap them?
No.
I don't get it either.
Okay, so it's not that they're trying to trap them, it's so that they don't get lost and escape. It's the same reason that they cover the mirrors. No, listen. It's the same reason that they cover the mirrors with black cloth and they cover the doors and they sit Shiva. So it's to make sure that they do not get lost on their transit to the next life.
Okay.
No, do you not know what setting Shiva is?
Yeah, is that when they invite everyone to visit the corpse for a certain amount of days?
Right, but there's a purpose to it. So sitting Shiva and you cover all of the mirrors and all of the glass, and it's to make sure that the soul does not get lost or, I guess, escape or get lost on their journey. But someone has to stay with them and make sure that they stay safe.
Yeah. I remember watching an episode of, I think it was Breaking Bad or the other one that came after that. What was that?
Someone said witches cover the mirrors for a different reason. Yeah, that's so things don't come out. Don't go in.
Right. So when I worked at that store when I was a child, I worked at that store with all the tarot cards and crystals and stuff. And I was selling crystal balls to people. I would insist that they put the crystal ball in the bag that it comes with, and people would say, well, I just think it's pretty. I don't want to put it in a bag. I said, no, if the sunlight hits the crystal ball, it can concentrate the sunlight to a point where it will light your floor on fire.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you don't want to allow a crystal ball to be exposed to sunlight, because it concentrates it. It's like a magnifying glass, but more powerful.
Have you heard? So there was a similar story. So
Better Call Saul. Yes, thank you. Those are fantastic shows, and I believe one of the episodes, someone was sitting in Shiva or whatever it was. I might be mistaken though. Sorry.
There's a similar story, and same thing. So I told you my mom has a friend who's a shaman, and same thing. She was like, you really need to keep your crystal ball covered with this cloth during the day. And she's like, why? Like, will something get out? And she was like, no, to catch your house on fire.
Yeah.
Like, but
Yeah.
the woman was so like, why? Is something bad gonna happen? Like, is something dangerous gonna come out of it? And she was like, no.
Yeah. Someone said, wait, Skeptic Talker sold crystals and tarot? Yes. All right, I'll share my deconversion story really quick. When I was a young kid, I was incredibly curious, right? I wanted to know if there was truth behind the religions or tarot cards or Buddhism. So I dove, deep dive. I went straight in, like head first. I went into Taoist Buddhism and learned how to meditate, and that was useful and you know, a good thing to. It was a good skill to know. I still meditate. I don't try to achieve enlightenment so that I am reincarnated in a better life. No, none of that. It's useful though. So I ended up working at this store in town, my hometown. It's like the head shop, you know. It's with all the special pipes and the crystals and the tarot cards and the books. Every religion is represented. Like there's a book for every religion in the store, and that's why I was fascinated by the store. And a couple of my friends in high school were working there at the time, so I naturally wanted to leave kitchens. I used to work in kitchens and hated it, and I had an opportunity to start working in retail. So I did, and as an employee, we were allowed to sit down with Barbara once every season or whatever. And Barbara was the palm reader and the tarot card specialist and, you know, fortunes and all that. And Barbara was one of the most charismatic, wonderful people you'll ever meet. She was a people person, and she did her job really well. So, you know, 16-year-old Brian sat down with Barbara, and she read my tarot cards, and I was fascinated. So what did 16-year-old Brian do? I bought the tarot cards and the bag and the book, the how does the do the thing, and I started to read the book on how the thing does the thing. And by chapter 2, I realized this is a bunch of bullshit. It's a collection of Barnum statements. A Barnum statement is any statement that's so broad in scope that it could apply to anyone. Horoscopes are a perfect example of Barnum statements. When you read your horoscope and it says, well, you're a kind, compassionate person that likes to listen to others. Well, no shit, Sherlock. That could apply to anyone, except for the people that are very close-minded and not interested in listening, of course. But I digress. So that moment that I was reading the how to read tarot cards, that was the moment that all the walls crumbled. And I realized that it's all make-believe, folks. It's all just an endeavor to entertain, to abuse powers, to abuse your position of authority. Like Barbara, I'm sure, is a wonderful person at heart, and she truly believes what she was doing. But she was a manipulative person. She would take people's money and tell them things that they wanted to hear. So, if you're giving someone money in a collection plate, or to a palm reader, or to the people that read people's skulls or whatever, just stop. We can graduate from this. We are better than this.
You didn't know that I'm a mind reader, Brian?
Oh, do tell.
I told you, I know these things. Oh my god, no.
Yeah.
The flying spaghetti monster, get out. No. We don't say that word around here. That's a bad word.
What do you say? I just said it right. Oh, just like the T word. Yeah, don't even mention the T word. It seriously F's the algorithm up. Yeah.
He's the only true devil. Which is
no,
why we call him Humpty.
He's just the Humpty. I call him Shitler.
I call him Orange Cheeto or Shrimp. I can't say
he's
that on here.
he's just the latest
Shrimp eggplant.
reincarnation of P.T. Barnum. You know, P.T. Barnum is a very
Don't you do that to
famous
PT. Don't you
entertainer
dare.
who would
Don't you
lie.
dare.
Yeah.
PT was much smarter.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, smarter, but
Way smarter.
yeah, Nixon was a bad one too.
Are you sure he said he wasn't a crook like a bunch of times?
I am not a crook. My heart tells me I didn't lie, but my head tells me I did. Yeah. Yeah, human history is full of a long line of charlatans and liars. The guest box is open. We had a couple of guests waiting to get in, but I was on my rants, and then you disappeared. So come on back.
Someone said shaming psychics promotes stigmas and social injustice. It's rude. Is it, or
Shaming
is it
psychics.
just people trying to manipulate other people into taking people's money? Because if you truly believe something, then there's help like psychologists and therapists. It's not science, and it's hard for people to understand the difference between like delusion and reality sometimes. So if someone is delusional and they need to find help, then there are places to find help. But using your delusion to take people's money is dangerous.
Yeah, and I'm sure that some of you believe that there is some science behind. I have a master's in clinical counseling. Well, to make the claim that there is truth or usefulness behind psychics, tarot card readers, palm readers, I don't believe you. I need to see, and I have done some research. Have you did the research? Yes. Barnum statements are a very powerful manipulative tool. There's also cold reading. People learn how to cold read. They use common names that are likely to be in someone's life. They can
There's
pick
a
out,
TV show all about that. He used to be,
yes,
he pretended to be a psychic and then he worked for the FBI and he was just a cold reader and he was really good at finding like.
look at, oh shoot, what was his name? James Randi, Randi. He was an illusionist. He would go on stage and perform illusions for people and then describe how he's able to cold read because he learns the skill. It's a learned skill.
Right, I'm not saying that all psychics have mental illness. There are difference between truly believing that God is speaking to you or someone is speaking to you and giving you answers and manipulating people for money and being able to read someone. There is in fact a difference.
Yeah, yeah. And again, I'm not saying that psychics are mentally ill. I'm saying there's basically two types of psychics. Those that fully believe that what they're doing is real and divinely powered, or they're reaching into the nether regions or whatever. And the second are the charlatans, the people that are taking advantage of the people who believe they are real. And I would think that the second category is the vast majority. Most psychics understand that there have been so many case studies of hidden speakers in your ear, like an earpiece, or people under the floorboards or in the attic ringing bells or bang, like the list of
Think
hoaxes
about
is
all of the
long and
switches
vast.
underneath the glass or the crystal balls that would light up. And I mean, for hundreds of years, we've had people where they were banging bricks and like knocking on doors. And I mean, we have so many scam artists and things that have been throughout history that have like psychics a bad name. Now, there are traveling religions, which we're not going to even talk about like the name because it gets, but that have been associated with these things that have given it an even worse name because there were bad names associated with those things. No, unfortunately, like Miss Cleo or people like psychics, people being able to call in on the phone was the worst thing that could have been done to psychics. Yes, there are frauds and there are all kinds of things, but to say that there's legitimacy to someone's delusion is more dangerous.
Yeah, Luna, when you're not working sometime, I'd love to have that conversation. What time is it? 4 o'clock here.
Professional psychics work for research.
So there are professional psychics, and I've seen that a lot of world's leaders actually consult with psychics, and they are duped too. They just because you're a world's leader does not mean you're immune from being suckered by charlatans.
Lots of them are religious.
Like let's take dowsing rods for an example. There are people, maybe in this chat or in this audience, that think that dowsing rods are some form of scientific tool or application, and there is zero substantial evidence. There's no peer-reviewed scientific articles or journals that conclude that dowsing rods are useful. Now, sometimes if a person is walking out in the desert and their dowsing rod says right here, and they drill a hole and they'll find water or oil or whatever, you know what? Even a broken clock is right twice a day, but that doesn't mean you can depend on it.
What's the study where they had the college put out a fake ad in the newspaper about a deceased person, and they continuously got calls from psychics saying that they got in touch with their loved one? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't. No, I don't.
All right, so there is a school, I think it's the Harvard School of Psychology, that they did a study just to kind of see what would happen, and they put out in the, what's it called when somebody writes
A peer-reviewed scientific journal or article?
When someone dies and you put it in the newspaper.
Oh, obituary.
Thank you. They put a fake obituary out for several different weeks for different people to see if anyone would call in, and multiple psychics called saying that they had gotten in contact with their long lost loved one.
Yeah, people are searching, actively searching for suckers every day. And there's got to be a lot of money in it, otherwise they wouldn't be doing it. How many times has, I mean, I know most people don't have landlines anymore, but we do, because I live with my 91-year-old grandma, and she has a landline that rings every friggin' day, and it's some friggin' scammer saying, "Whoa, just do the thing, and you'll." I mean, these people wouldn't be trying to scam us if it wasn't profitable, and I think it would not be so profitable if we all practice a little more skepticism. Fortunately, Nana has never actually fallen for one of these scams, but it could happen today or tomorrow.
The problem with psychics is they proclaim to be able to be in contact with the other side. But for people like Brian and I who do not believe that there is a higher power, or that when we die that it's just kind of a lights out situation, to contact some kind of otherworldly anything just seems absurd to us. Like, there doesn't seem to be some kind of anything to connect to. So, well, and so someone just said, like, but the study, but it's not, like, we understand, but for us, we don't believe in a spirit or a ghost or other connection to another dimension. So, I don't know.
Yeah, look up cold reading. Cold reading is a performative art, and it plays off of people's emotions. Like if I am not well versed at it, but if I said there's somebody in your life that means an awful lot to you, does this person's name start with is it a J? I'm seeing a J. There's someone in your life with a name that starts with J. Maybe it's their middle initial.
Oh my
Maybe
God,
there's a
my
J
grandfather's name
anywhere.
started with a J. Oh
That's
my
it.
God.
It's your grandfather's reaching out to me. And did he suffer at any point in his life?
He had
Was there a
cancer. How
time?
did you
There was
know?
a time of trauma in his life, and I can feel that. Right? This is
He
a
was a
version of cold
firefighter,
reading.
yeah.
Yeah. See, Barnum statements are so easy to spot as soon as you know how to see them.
Triggered.
Yeah.
So somebody just showed up and I gotta go. So I will talk to you
Okay.
later, my friend.
Good luck and Godspeed. Thanks. Thank you so much for everything
Peace
you
be
do.
upon you. You must believe.
Believe. Bye, Chelsea.
Bye, friend.
Yeah, please DM me. Yeah, I'm happy to have this conversation. I appreciate you. I think you have a lot to share, and I've seen you around, and we can figure this out together. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. What's on your minds today?
Well, I just wanted to say that I have been following you for like, I don't know, maybe like the last month or two. Been listening to your readings in your videos, and I find it very fascinating. And for the last 10 years, I have been kind of in that limbo state of what do I actually believe? You know, kind of a deconstruction of this indoctrinated Christianity. And I think what really made the push for me was that these TikTok lives and listening to folks like you on these lives talk about, well, and just the fact that over the most recent years we've seen how horrible religion has turned our community within each other, and just it's just icky. And I feel like that was really the like boot that I needed to get out the door. And it's then all of a sudden I found these lives, so it's like happened so, you know, coincidentally in the perfect order. And I just have a minute or so, but I just wanted to say I'm amazed at your content and I love listening to you. And although I have my own set of beliefs, I also believe that you have no way to prove what you're saying is true. And I find it very fascinating that so many people can come on here and say, I have proof that God exists. Because even if I believed in God, I would never tell someone that. And I don't understand that way of thinking. It just seems so baffling. And there are tons of folks out there that come on here and say, it's true.
With
It's
certainty,
true.
with conviction.
Certainty, with
Yes.
conviction. And it's like, wow, why do you just read the Bible and never questioned it? And you never thought, you know, you just never, it's a little bit alarming almost. And so this is where I'm at in the deconstruction process, is seeing all this happen and thinking, wow, there are so many followers that just never thought, who was the Bible written by? Why was it, you know, readjusted so many times? And why are there hundreds of different sects of Christianity? And why do they all believe something different? And why are there so many rules? And why does everybody think that their God is the one? And they say it with such conviction and certainty. And then you see how they all treat each other. And that was like the last boot for me. So there's my story. And I just wanted to say I love your stuff and I listen almost daily to you. So I'm a big fan.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
You too. Thank you again. Yeah, take your time with your deconversion. It's not a race. nobody comes to any belief instantly, right? It takes a lifetime to examine the claims and be given the opportunity to examine the evidence. That's what makes the scientific process so powerful. It's allowing others to examine your claims and your findings, and it helps us understand the natural world as much as possible. And if your claim has anything to do with supernatural beings or gods or dogmas, then that is, by definition, outside of the realm of scientific inquiry. So, you can choose to believe anything you want, right? You, as a free thinker, we are all free to believe anything. You can believe that Lisa pooped out our universe, and that's why we're here. You can choose to believe that. Whether or not it's true is an entirely different matter. So how do we determine what is true and what is not true? That's all I want to do. I want to believe as many true statements as possible and reject as many untrue or false claims as possible. So when we examine a book, like a holy book of scripture, it's full of stories, anecdotes, lessons, history. A lot of that stuff is factually real. Like we know that certain pharaohs or people existed. These moments in time existed. I believe that Jesus was a real person that walked on the earth. Do I believe he was able to turn water into wine? Maybe he was an illusionist. Maybe he fooled people with an illusion. Maybe he was able to walk on water, but it was an illusion. Like Muhammad, did he really get all of that information and write it down in a book that has never been changed or altered? No, we know that the Quran has been altered. We know that it has been edited. And we know this because of the facts. There is facts that we can examine and compare one version to another version and conclude that yes, it was indeed edited. But the reason you believe that it was never edited is because somebody told you that it was never edited. And you believed them. You had no reason to question their proposition, their claim that the Quran was never edited, until you questioned it. Then you can examine the claims. What about all the psychics, like we were just talking about? Is mysticism real? Can we actually reach into the supernatural realm? Well, we should be able to test those claims, and a lot of people are testing those claims. There have been thousands of years of testing, and the more we learn, the smaller and smaller the God of the gaps gets. Take your time in your deconversion. Like I said, there's no rush. As long as you're as long as you learn how to examine every claim with a bit of skepticism, that's the process. Those are the tools that you need, right? To better shape your epistemology. I didn't become the way I am overnight. I'm 38 years old. I have had a long time to build my epistemological toolbox. And my bullshit detector is finely tuned. It's fun. It's fun to me. It's not fun for everyone. I enjoy this kind of conversation. And if you don't, then you're not here, right? You're not paying attention, and that's fine too. But showing people how to apply these methods of skepticism is an opportunity to teach. And I love teaching. I think it's fun. I think it's engaging to show someone how to apply Occam's razor, or how to pick out a Barnum statement. What are syllogisms? Can you describe a syllogism to me and use it in a sentence? Can you create a syllogism? Can you give me an example of a flawed syllogism and a good sound syllogism, and show me how they conflict? Do you know the basic laws of logic? Do you know what the law of identity, excluded middle, and law of non-contradiction are, and how they are applied? Right? No one is born with this knowledge. This is all learned behaviors, learned skills, and it takes time. And there's no better time to start than right now. You might be late to the party, but we're glad you're here. Please come in. Embrace skepticism. Embrace doubts. Embrace the concept that you're not right. I'm not right. We're all fumbling about in this world to try to figure it out together. But when someone claims that they have all the answers, when somebody claims that their God definitely exists, well, now the conversation is pretty much at a pause. We have to get over that hurdle, right? You have to go from I know to I wonder. And that is something that is systematically driven out of us as a child. We are trained not to question authority. We are trained to, our minds are shaped with intention to believe that if you got this question on the test wrong, that you are wrong, that you failed, you are flawed. Well, excuse me, but F you. There's no such thing as only one answer. There are multiple answers to all these questions. I know I'm being a little parabolic. Sometimes there is only one answer, right? Does the heart pump blood? Yes, that is its function, right? That's basically one answer. But it's important to recognize that there are multiple types of intelligence. IQ is, the intelligence quotient is such a flawed methodology, it infuriates me. It makes my blood boil. To say that I have a high IQ and you don't have a high IQ only shows me one thing. I am good or bad at taking exams. That's it. The IQ test is how good you are at memorizing facts or applying some logical concepts and taking a test. That's it. But it's not, an IQ test will never be able to tell me if you are good at playing guitar, or if you're good at painting a picture, or making snowmen, there are so many types of intelligences that that our modern education system tragically ignores. If we promoted the arts better, if we promoted skepticism, rationality better, critical thinking skills, we wouldn't be stuck in this mess that we are today. All right, let's read some chat. How fast you can process those things. Yeah. Syllogism. Christ walked the earth and died for our sins. Therefore, Christ is our Savior. There's your syllogism. Well, that's not a syllogism. Those are claims, but that's not a proper syllogism. Nice giraffe. Yes, she is gorgeous. She is majestic. You're all about theoretical nonsense. Okay. I even have UBI, Universal Basic Income, if only that were the case. Yes. I pray for a day that we don't have to struggle for the basic necessities. Imagine the richest country in the world. United States is the richest country in the history of the world, yet we can't even take care of our starving children. Some people are very, very wealthy, and the rest of us are suffering. The rest of us don't have roofs over our heads or full bellies. We're struggling with basic, I hate using the term third world problems, but we are suffering with third world problems right now. Our infant mortality rates are increasing when the richest country in the world, they should be decreasing, but they're not. Our self-unaliving statistic right now is astonishing. So there's a concept in economics called the Gini coefficient. It's a number between 0 and 1, and it's basically a mathematical representation of the what's the word I'm looking for? When the amount of wealth in the society is evenly distributed or unevenly distributed. So if your Gini coefficient is 0, then everybody in the society owns the same amount of wealth, perfectly even. There's no such thing as a country that has a Gini coefficient of 0. It doesn't exist. When your Gini, by the way, it's not like rubbing a Jamp Genie. It's Gini, and I can't remember what it stands for. But when your Gini coefficient is 1, that means one person in the society, in the country, owns all of the wealth, and nobody else has any wealth at all. Again, it doesn't exist, right? This is just a concept. But I can look up GI coefficient United States compared to, and now I can find graphs and charts. Gini index, United States, world, where is it? That's not a good source. Yeah, confirmation bias. No, it's not a good source because it was like a long article. I want just a chart. Oh, click images, Brian. There we go. Click images. There. Income inequality and redistribution. U.S. government does less than many other rich countries to reduce market-generated income inequality. United States is a 0.42, according to, based on LIS microdata, most recent data available early to mid-2000s. Anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent now. But if anyone wants to do a little research into income wealth distribution, learning what the Gini coefficient is a good place to start. Do we have any guests that want to come in and chat, share a story or an idea, concept, tell us a joke? I've got about an hour at most before I need to log off. I might log off before that. I am getting a little tired, but I am always, as usual, enjoying the conversation. Yeah, let's talk about fiat currencies for a minute. So, a dollar bill. Here's one. Here's a crisp one. Here's a shiny one. This is a $100 US note of currency. This is only worth $100 because we give it value. It's entirely subjective. However, there are some real-world consequences to whether or not you have dollars versus a cryptocurrency, especially when it comes to paying your taxes. You cannot pay taxes with monopoly money because the United States Treasury does not recognize anything other than legal tender US fiat currency as a legitimate form of currency. And that's a good thing for a lot of reasons. When we have to pay our taxes, it is unfortunately the price of admission into a civil society. We have to collectively recognize the rules and operate within that rule-based system. Otherwise, chaos. Otherwise, anarchy, right? And I don't like chaos. I don't like anarchy. I think those are bad. Yet I also recognize that authoritative regimes, policies, legislatures, governments can do tremendous harm. Don't get it twisted. I fully understand that. But we have to operate within the bounds of our society with the endeavor to make it better. We, in the United States anyway, and a lot of other democratic countries around the world, have the opportunity to increase the comforts of life, to increase our survival rates, to increase our educations. We have the ability to make it better, right? And that is a sign of a good, healthy country. Unfortunately, we see all too often that we are slipping, we are declining, we are in a state of decay right now. But like the phoenix rises from the ashes, we have an opportunity to make it better on the other side. So yes, things are hard right now. They're likely going to get worse. But this is a teaching moment. It's a learning moment. It's an opportunity for us to form solidarity, to share ideas with like-minded people, and make the change happen. Yeah, Britain's falling apart too. I just saw. I don't know if this is true, but I think Parliament just passed a law that made what was it? Protesting illegal. Am I right? Did the UK just outlaw civil protests? If that's the case, then who famously said, what was it? There's a great quote I'm trying to remember. When peaceful protest isn't an option, violent protest becomes inevitable. Does anyone remember who was it that said something along the lines of when peaceful protest is no longer an option, violent protest becomes inevitable? Maybe Thomas Paine said it. It was one of those great thinkers back in the day. Oh, another another great book to put on your reading list. Thomas Paine. Oh, my mind is drawing a blank. I read it so long ago. Reading the Bible critically is one of the greatest sources of non-believers. Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable. And it was JFK. I believe. I mean, who knows if he got it from someone else before? It all comes back to Confucius. I mean, Confucius said everything. The sign of a wise man is when he knows what he knows and knows that he doesn't know what he doesn't know. I know I'm butchering it, and I want to be gender neutral. The sign of a wise person is when they know what they know and they know that they don't know what they don't know. The UK should look at France. Yeah, for all of its flaws, the country of France does a lot of things right. They are truly the first modern democracy. I know the United States like to claim that, but during our Revolutionary War, we went to the free democratic country of France for aid, and they gave it. And I will forever be grateful. The man who knows everything knows nothing. Perfect. And I meet a lot of those people on here. I meet a lot of people that know everything. Gaining knowledge is humbling. Abso-freaking-lutely. My first tagline, I changed it since then, but I might go back, was talking is fun, but listening and learning is even better. Learning is better. Right now, I just put up the 5 steps, the 5 steps of the Socratic method. Wonder, hypothesis, elenchus, revising the hypothesis, and changing your actions. Because if you don't endeavor to change your actions, then this philosophical endeavor is basically pointless, right? We want to change our actions. We want to behave in accordance with reality. We want to know how to vote smarterer, right? We want to be more betterer at the votings. Because if we're not more betterer at the votings, then what's the point in having these conversations? Fortunately, most of us here have the opportunity to vote. And please don't let anyone tell you that your vote doesn't matter. That is such a cop-out. When someone tells you that your vote doesn't matter and you believe them, that is nihilism. That is saying, you're right, I give up, there's no point in trying. And that falls directly in the hands of the powerful who don't want you to vote. Our vote is the only thing that really actually does matter. Voting is critical. And if you're not voting, every single election, not just on the presidential elections, every election, local elections, midterms, the vote for your school board candidates, right? Every vote matters. I wasted your vote. Hey, don't worry about it. You'll have another opportunity. Every single vote is but a drop in the ocean, right? But every drop counts. Your votes matter, yes. Oregon almost had a MAGA governor elected by around 100,000 votes. The great Bernie Sanders won his election by like 7 votes. And guess what? He failed the first 1 or 2 times that he ran for office. But he is in my opinion, one of the greatest icons of modern electoral processes that we have. And no, he's not a saint. I don't deify him. But the Bernie Sanders is an inspiration. He inspires me. I wouldn't have knocked on hundreds of doors had it not been for his campaigns. I wouldn't have called literally thousands of people during his campaign. I wouldn't have been politically motivated to get involved like I was had it not been for an inspiring candidate. And the tragedy of our 2-party electoral system is that inspiring candidates are hard to come by, right? They're hard to find. Parts of me dreams of running for office. Yes, Katie Porter. Yes, Katie Porter for president all day long. Part of me dreams of running for office, but then I realized the absolute misery that job entails, and I don't want to do it. I want to help good people be elected, right? I want to promote skepticism so that we can better inform the electorate, the people that vote. The voters matter. Feel the burn. Hell yeah. R.I.P. RBG. R.I.P. Yeah, voting matters. Love you, bruh. Love the burn. Yes. Feel the burn. And like Bernie said, it's not about me. It's about us, right? That was the campaign slogan. Not me. Us. We are what matters. So please never forget that. Never lose that spark. Let me join you. Yeah, come on in. Please request. I can invite you if you want. Let me join you. I don't see the invite button. There. Invite.
Hello.
Hi. How are you? What's
Hear
on your
me?
minds?
Good. Oh, I think you're wonderful.
Aw,
And
thank you.
I would vote for you in a heartbeat. I absolutely love that you tell people like to question everything. It's so important. I was raised Catholic and went all through Catholic school.
Yeah.
And I knew in about 5th grade, oh, bless you. And I'm an atheist. I was raised Catholic, and the nuns hated me because I questioned everything. I'd say, "Where are
You
the
little brat.
dinosaurs in the
Why are you
Bible?" Yeah, it
why
was
are you
terrible.
asking questions, you little brat? You're
They
supposed to believe
hated it.
everything we tell you without question. No
Exactly.
more questions.
Well, this is the best. I had a
F you.
priest actually tell me, because I said, "I'll worry about Christ when I'm in my deathbed," when I was 14. And he said, "You're going to burn in hell." And I was like, "Oh, that's great. That was a really great way to handle it." I was 14 years old. And
Yeah.
I at that point, I thought, this is all BS, and I don't believe any of it. And from then on, so I was agnostic originally, and then just became like atheist because, and I had my daughter, and I let her explore everything she wanted to. I didn't want to influence her decision, but thankfully she's atheist and is raising her children atheists because, like, religion, they deter you from asking questions about life, about the world, about the planet, about the universe. You know, that's what's so bad
It's
about it.
it's anti-intellectualism. It's a pervasive
Absolutely.
thought, and it's destructive, and it's harmful, and
Hmm.
that's why I like having these kind of conversations to point out the horrors of anti-intellectualism.
Absolutely. And I also, I cringe when they call United States a Christian nation, because we're
Yeah,
based
I
on supposedly separation of church and state. We're supposed to be a mixing, what do they call it? The mixing
yeah, the mixing
mixing
pot.
bowl or whatever of
Yeah.
people. Yeah, and I cringe. That just makes me cringe to hear, like, I think it was Donald Trump saying that.
Oh, we
And
don't use
I
the
mean,
T
I
word,
cringed
please.
at everything about him, right?
No, seriously,
I'm so glad he's gone.
the algorithm will notice the T word and say, "Ooh, they're talking politics. Let's
Oh, okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
It's all good though. It's all
Yeah,
good."
Rump. I'll call him
Shitler.
Rump. Yeah, exactly. He's a fascist. They, all of them. I mean, I'm so scared for my grandchildren for the future.
Me
With
too.
this,
Me
yeah,
too.
it's so bad. But I just wanted to tell you, I think you're fantastic. I love your messages. I'm following you. I listen to you. I just think you're wonderful, and I love what you're teaching people.
Well, I
You
don't
know,
do it for the praise, but I fully
right?
appreciate it, and thank you. Yeah, thank you
You're
very much.
welcome.
And we're in this
And
together. You're part of the solution too, my friend.
thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. And I'm just thrilled because I finally got to 1,000, and I'm able to do this. Thanks for
Yay!
bringing me on.
Congratulations.
Yay. Thank you. All
Come
right,
back
well, I'm
again,
going to
okay?
go.
All right.
I will, definitely.
Thank you so much. Oh, I had another guest lined up. There, they're coming in. Hi, welcome.
Hey, what's up, Brian?
Oh, having a wonderful day, but I'll get better. How are you?
I wanted to go up and tell the story of my how it happened, and
Yeah, by all means. The floor is yours.
um, and it's short. used to be addicted to watching porn and masturbate alongside. And that started very early. It started when I was 12 years old and I was studying at a very strict Catholic school, and only male school. And that happened. A guy showed me porn and I got addicted. And I also, and is that I went straight into all kind of superstitious belief because I wanted to explore magic thought. I thought that magic existed, and I loved it. I got obsessed with it. Most of these religions will tell you that semen is like a special energy, like vital energy or something like that, and you can't masturbate, or you're gonna get older, and you're gonna like lose magic powers or something like that.
Have you ever seen the movie
So
The Life of Brian by Monty Python?
no,
There, there, there's this great song. It's a musical, and the song is "Every sperm is sacred, every sperm is grand." And I'm sorry to detract from your story, but the song is hilarious, and I would encourage you to watch it just for the laughs.
yeah, I think it was I tried to watch it, but I didn't have enough level of English to understand British humor. Maybe now I
Yeah,
can. I'm gonna
yeah.
give it a try. But the thing was, I lived so much time in misery, thinking of myself as a worthless piece of shit, like because I was really addicted to masturbation. Like it was, I hated
Oh,
my
it's.
family, so
I'm sorry,
so
I misspoke. It's in the meaning of life, not the life of Brian. You're correct. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's the meaning of life, which is another Monty Python movie. Please forgive me for interrupting again. Continue.
uh, yeah, so every 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 time I would be tired or depressed or sad, I would like wank and and just like it would be like a recharge of my batteries, a recharge of my mood. I don't know, and so
No,
I
I
got
get it. It's a physical, psychological coping mechanism. It releases endorphins. There's all kinds of benefits from it. But like anything, it can be abused. And like you say, you were addicted, and I can understand that. I get it. I hear you.
I it, I think it was really like inhuman for a child to suffer that like mental self I don't know self damage, and so I
And of course, you
okay
can't
so
talk about it, right? It's taboo. It's a sin to even bring it up. So how do you cope with that addiction when you can't even have a discussion about it? Because now you're the problem. It's you that's the problem, right? Instead of the whole culture that turns this action, this normal behavior. It is a normal behavior, self gratification. It is part of the human experience, and when a religion turns it into a sin, a thought crime, a way to torment, then that's traumatic to a young person.
and so I I kind of so this thing affected me because I recently learned that the brain develops until 25 years old. So you probably I think you probably shouldn't be exposed to pornography or to this kind of feelings like before that age, before 25. I really have always thought that I was introduced to porn way too early. I have never thought over otherwise. And to make it worse, when I was in 11th grade, I was failing statistics subject, so I had to find a private teacher. And my mom found one, and he was a very mystic person. He believed in a sect that was invented in my country, and in this sect they think that you have to believe in aliens, and you have to be a vegan, and your body's a temple, and so many like dogmas. And so to make it worse, this guy, it was like I had found more feels, and he was telling me the truth, and I bought all of it. So I started reading about this sect, and I just thought it was the name of the sect is actually Tao, like Taoism in China, but it was like a ripoff that was invented in my country, and I got obsessed with this emblem, this sign of the Tao, the Yin Yang symbol. I got obsessed with it. It was like I actually thought it was science. I thought it was the language of nature, like scientists think of mathematics. I really, really, really deeply thought of that sign as the origin of science, or like the only law that exists in the universe. And so I got really, really, really deeply into my blood. I believe in that.
The yin yang symbol is a wonderful symbol. In fact, it's it's part of my only tattoo. I have a tattoo, and in the tattoo is a tiny little yin yang in the middle of it. All right, turn away. I'm going to show you my leg. I'll show you my tattoo. If you don't want to see it, turn away now. There we go. That's a terrible picture. I can't hold this pose forever. It's a compass rose, like on a compass, north, south, east, west, with a thing around it, and in the very center is a yin yang, and then around that is like this tribal cross that encompasses. Maybe I'll take a picture later, but anyway, I digress.
So I was telling that it got worse because at 15 years I started due to this sect, to this belief, to this religion, I became a very radical vegan, and so the problem was that at that age I'm way too young to start a diet, and my brain is developing. And I stopped eating milk, eating eggs, eating fish, eating beef, all type of protein. And I didn't know you had to take B12. I didn't know. I never supplemented. I entered that diet in the worst kind of way, and it was in a very ignorant way.
Yep, so, I'm a pescatarian, and I take vitamin B12 supplements. No, but that's the only supplement I take. Yes, because we are typically lower in exposure to vitamin B12. It's one of the very few supplements that people that share a vegan or similar diet should consider taking.
And so I was very radical, like a religious extremist type of vegan, and I was crazy. I never cheated, never drank a drop of milk or anything. I wasn't a vegetarian. I was a vegan, 100%, and I didn't eat any industrial food at all. And so that diet of mine, I had it for 6 years, from my 15 to my 21st years. And so I after that diet, I ended up in a psychiatry, in a psychiatrist. I ended up having to take, because I think my brain fucked up. I think my brain had to be very good nourished during those years, and so I was absurdly taking vitamins from my body because of this. Okay, so the vegan diet, it makes you very horny, right? Because it is very rich in seeds. So it makes you more horny. And I was already addicted. I think of it that I was like a drug addicted person, because your brain is addicted to the chemicals in your brain. And so I felt like I was addicted to drugs, to the extent I was so addicted to this. And the diet, I didn't know at the time, but it was worsening the addiction. And so after all this fucking life shit I had, I there was a moment where I was really, I don't know, maybe it could have been the psychiatric medicine I started taking, and getting back on living the vegan diet also helped. And I remember, but I so I was no longer vegan. I was no longer, I was now having psychiatrist attention, psychiatrist medication for like 3 years or more. And I had tried many antidepressants and antipsychotics, and I started, but I was still a porn addicted and addicted to masturbation. And one day I was looking something to wank, and I entered Twitter, and I have always loved this Taoism, like Chinese aesthetics, like Chinese movies, like these pagodas, these, I don't know, old China. I'm absolutely like fascinated by old China aesthetics, and I love this girl, the sports star, that's called Riley Reid. Have you seen that she has this
Well,
very beautiful?
let's not get too graphic on TikTok or do too many name drops here. We do want to keep it audience,
Well, okay, okay, for a child public, I don't know. And this girl has these tattoos in her back, and I just was so obsessed with this girl because I thought this girl broke the world of pornography, because she doesn't seem to like do it as a job, but do it as a passion. This girl, I freaking love this girl. And so I enter her Twitter account, and she only follows one person, and I wanted to know who the heck this girl, to only follow one person. And that guy was this guy, one of the four horsemen of atheism, Sam Harris. And that's how
was it really? It was Sam Harris.
and
are you joking right now? Please tell me you're legit.
I wanted to tell my story because it's so
that makes me appreciate Riley Reid even more. Hey, a good performance is a good performance.
I have always been obsessed with her because it's the only performer that I've seen that she does her job like enjoying it, and it's not like because she, I mean, I don't know, she's just fascinating to me. It's like, I don't know, maybe she's really, really crazy, I don't know. But so, and after that, I'm not sure if what made me turn in. Okay, so after I So that was like the first seed that planted a seed in me. Like, how is this girl so perfect, so, I don't know, smart, emotionally smart? I don't know. How is she so successful?
She's a good performer. That's at the end of the day. Remember that all porn is just performance. I just want to close with this. Everything in moderation, right? To go from one extreme, whether it's your diet or the media that you digest, anything can be abused. Water, the building blocks of life, even too much water can drown us, right? So everything in proportion, in moderation is important. Even our vices, like smoking, drinking, other hallucinogens, there's a time and a place, right? But everything has to be in moderation. Once you get outside of that moderation, then there's room for abuse. I have another guest that I'd really like to get to, but please share your final thought, and thank you for sharing your story.
I'm almost going to finish.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
After watching this guy Sam Harris, that was like, I didn't immediately start looking who Sam Harris was, but some time after, I don't know if years or months, I don't know why. Okay, so I started like leaving Christianity aside and my sect aside, and I started being more Jewish. I started not eating pork and respecting Sabbath and these things. But after taking a better antipsychotic, I ended up believing I don't need to believe in a God. So I entered YouTube, and I was alone at home, and I just wanted to. I don't remember what I thought about exactly, but I just said, I'm an atheist now. It's just fucking stupid. I don't believe in a God because I got upset with so many fucking stupid shit that Jews make you do to be religious. It's done so many rules, so many laws, and so I went to YouTube on my smart TV and type it atheism, and the first bit that comes out is this channel, the School of Life, and Alan the Bottom, and the name of the video is Atheism 2.0. 2.0. I watched the video and I'm like, okay, and I started watching the recommended videos, and after that comes this video of I don't remember if it is the Thinking Atheist. He's so awesome. And
yeah, what's his name? I talk about him frequently. The Thinking Atheist is what's his name?
He's an American.
He's got that radio voice. And he used to do right-wing political commentary until he realized how ridiculous it was, and now he's an outspoken atheist and author. What is his name? I gotta look it up. Seth Andrews. Yeah, if anyone here is looking for a good content creator, Seth Andrews, the Thinking Atheist. Good stuff. He's got a really good
mental
podcast.
note. Thank you.
And so that is my I don't know. I don't like to call it a deconversion, but like finding
your
of
path.
truth.
Yeah,
It was
your
my
path that you walked.
My finding of like living the slave life. Yeah, I don't have anything anymore to say. I just wanted to share my story.
Well, thank you.
I really think
Can I ask a question?
Riley Reid is doing the Lord's work. Absolutely.
I love it.
Where do you live now? Did I miss that?
I live in the capital city of Colombia in South America, in Bogota.
Is it hard being in a place that is deeply religious?
I just think people in here are just uneducated, I don't know what the word is in English is, analphabet? I don't know. they are not educated in the basics of anything. Here, people are we are living like in a feudalism. I don't know. I mean, I'm just 28 years old. I'm not that old to know everything about life or to know that good my country. But yeah, it's very, 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 very um, I don't know.
Yeah,
Very.
it sounds ignorant is a word that you're looking for. When people don't know things, but it's not their fault. Like I am ignorant of all kinds of things. I have no idea how an automatic transmission works. I am ignorant to that fact. But I could choose to learn, right? I could choose to figure it out if I wanted or needed to.
No, but I want to find the exact word because it is like no one has ever worried about in my country like to make it like a big country. No one has ever like take action to like make this nation like Japan, like very modern, very civilized, very I don't know this country. No one has ever taken action to leave the ignorant state. It's very I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard.
You almost made me
Is
Maybe
it
you
mad.
can run for
non-theistic?
office. Maybe you can run for office and unfuck your world.
That would be great, right?
Yeah.
I didn't listen your question. What I didn't understand.
Oh,
Maybe.
non-theistic.
Miss,
Yeah.
if I am non-theistic, if I am what?
Theistic is someone that believes in a god, and non-theistic is someone that doesn't, or atheistic. Anyway, thank you so much for sharing your story. I really appreciate your time.
Theistic that in believing in the yin yang symbol or something.
Oh no, I think we're a little confused.
I'm an atheist.
Yeah.
I'm an atheist. Okay. So after I started watching atheist videos in YouTube, I never stopped. I watched all the videos from Dark Matter 2525. I watched all videos from Cult of Dusty. I watched all videos from I don't know. I got obsessed with.
Have you heard of Anthony Magnabosco?
I'm subscribed, but I haven't watched his videos.
It's right. So he practices a technique called street epistemology, and I think you would find that interesting if you have the time.
Yeah,
I highly recommend watching Anthony Magnabosco. Really good stuff.
Okay, thanks for the advice. I take
All right, my friends.
from this life.
Be well. Stay
Thank
good.
you very much, Brian. I really like your content.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Are you still here? LESCD Ill Holdings Co. You were waiting for a long time, and I was expecting to talk to you soon, or hoping, I should say. Maybe they're not available. Wow, 5:07 already. I've got time for maybe 1 or 2 more guests before I need to log off for the night.
You could do 2 or 3 if we did rapid fire.
If we do rapid fire, yep. All right, well, thanks for being with us. Be well. All right, the box is open.
I was going to make a joke, but I'm not going to. I remember where I was.
Riley Reid doing the Lord's work. Oh my goodness. That's funny. That's really, really funny. I'm a fan too. Don't get me wrong. But I've never been on Twitter, and I have no idea who people like Riley Reid follow. But if that's true, If that's true, oh my goodness. I love that. That's fantastic.
What do you think would be the most difficult thing for believers to understand about non-believers? Like, what do you think is the most difficult thing for them?
You ever hear when believers say, well, atheism is just another religion? Or your lack of belief is belief in the thing that you don't believe in, right?
Yeah.
That double negative. I think there are some consistent threads that I hear an awful lot about, or from believers, that it all comes down to a misunderstanding. They've been taught that these words mean something that they don't. So opening your mind up to the possibility that you're wrong, that it all comes down to that. When you know that you're right, but you're not, that is the first most important hurdle to get over. So I think it's becoming comfortable in not knowing, or being open to learning that you're wrong and how to correct it. That's it. That's the biggest thing.
Oh, I love someone said that the Bible doesn't apply to us because we don't subscribe. I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I'm going to hell if I do bad things. So, I mean, I genuinely think that being a good person for just being a good person, it's not because I think that there's some all-powerful deity that's going to pull me down into the depths if I don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's harder to convince a fool that he has been conned than it is to con the fool. Yes, that. Who said that? That is a really good quote. The other one that I really like, that's along the same lines, is from the author. It'll come to me. It's hard to get. Go.
Someone said Jesus just wants you to like and subscribe.
Jesus is what you like. It's impossible to get a man to understand something when his salary depends on his not understanding. Yeah, Oscar Wilde's, that sounds like the first quote, but the second one wasn't Oscar Wilde's, it was I say it all the time too. Not Hemingway.
Confirmation bias, that is not what confirmation bias is.
Upton Sinclair said, it's difficult to get a man to understand something when his salary depends on his not understanding. Yeah, confirmation bias is when you want to prove your point, so you go to Google and you find 10 articles that help you substantiate your point, but then you ignore the 10,000 articles that say, no, this isn't true. There's a lot more to confirmation bias than just that. Like counting the hits and ignoring the misses. When I pray that X, Y, and Z happen, and you see some things that lead to that conclusion, but then ignore all the things that counteract or contradict.
But you just have to believe. If you just believe, you just have to believe in Lisa.
Just belief.
You just have to believe in Lisa. And then see, that's the thing. Anyone can say that about anything. Which is why we make things like Lisa, because people say those things to us all the time.
And don't forget to put your tithe in the collection plate.
To be fair, we are collecting exotic leaves for Lisa, so.
Yes, eucalyptus is her favorite. They have full lectures on pseudoscience. Who does? Who has full lectures?
I'm sure they do.
I loved your money quotes today. Which money quote? What did I say about money? If money is the root of all evil, then why do churches ask for it? There's a good one.
That's freaking fabulous.
Maybe we were talking earlier about fiat currencies. You know, it has worth because we give it worth, right? But we have to pay our taxes with it, right? So it is useful. Data analysis.
Lisa collects green. It's just a different kind.
Yes. She touches the leafy green, and it's delightful. I am recording this, and I put these lives on YouTube. You can follow my YouTube channel, same name, Skeptic Talker. I haven't posted everything yet, but I'm getting there.
No one won the $1 trillion yet, but we're gonna keep trying.
I was trying to find the coin. I lost the coin. It's around here somewhere. I lost my $1 trillion coin.
Brian, we sold the jewel for nothing. Lisa gave us the mystical leaves from the space, Brian.
Yeah.
Not just any space, the space.
Oh, if you want to share a story, Lunar Lot, it's up to you. You can share whatever you want. I'd be happy to listen. I'm a coin collector as well. So I've actually got some rare coins in here somewhere, like some missed stamps, like stamps. They were unaligned when they stamped the coin.
Oh, that's really cool. To be fair, I may have found a $1 trillion coin, but I hold on to it now.
And
it's definitely not filled with chocolate.
I told you I'm God and I exist. Where's my money? Well, if you're God, then what do you need money for?
Lisa requests leaves and only leaves for They Are the Future.
And head pats. She likes head pats too.
And her picture taken, which is such a weird thing as a deity, but you know, whatever.
Alright, I'm going to switch the background. I'll go to another Lisa picture for a few minutes.
I think people need to appreciate the pure... Oops. Oh my god. The pure size and magnitude of Lisa.
Okay, just a moment. Here's another one. She's so majestic. You have come up with some truly fantastic pictures. You and your AI stuff. Yeah, cherry-picked research. I don't want to. Okay, that's fine. Oh, we've got a guest. Hello. Hello, welcome.
Hello.
What's on your minds today?
Well, so I am an atheist now, but I was heavily involved in the evangelical church as a teen.
Yeah.
And I've now deconstructed and I'm out of that. But I love coming into your lives and seeing, just watching other people deconstruct sometimes. I find it very helpful to myself just to see how they deconstruct, and it really helped me to deconstruct to come into lives like this, to be honest.
Well, that is my endeavor, so thank you very much for confirming my helping confirm why I do this. I
Yes.
appreciate that. I appreciate you.
I was, yeah, thank you. I was a teen in a rural town in Canada. I basically, one of those communities where like everybody knows everybody, everybody's somebody's cousin, you know? It's a very religious based community. There's like, 2,000 people, but like seven churches.
Yeah.
And I grew up sort of like going to one, and my whole family went, and we went to Sunday school, and we prayed and so on, but we didn't like, we weren't like evangelical or anything like that. But when I was 14, my brother passed away suddenly, and I just, in grief, was looking for a place to go, somewhere to meet some friends, and I started going to like a local youth group. And there I met like some friends, and they invited me to their youth group. And before you knew it, I was going like 5 days a week to Bible studies, youth groups at one church and then another. And it was great because I felt accepted and I was making friends. And, you know,
Love
it's
bombing is very
definitely,
hard.
yeah. And it's a really like a trap, because it was also like always at the back of my mind that this was a thing, or, that like God was real. I just sort of accepted that. It was, you know, very faith driven, I guess. But there were definitely things once I got into the evangelical church that I realized I wasn't comfortable with, but I also didn't feel at that time like I could speak up or say anything that would be frowned upon. I would be kicked out. You know what I mean? Like, I really didn't want to be not accepted. So, it went on. I actually met my husband at that church, at that youth group, and we got married when we were 19 and 22.
Wow.
And we've
Yeah.
been married we've been married for 17 years this year. And we're very, very lucky that it worked out for us. We did love each other. My husband, very quickly after we got to be like adults, he was a little bit older than me. He went to a Christian university, and
Mm-hmm.
there he deconstructed really quickly and realized, okay, no, like I always had my doubts, but like, no, I'm out. Like, that's it for me. But he didn't try to get me to deconstruct. He would try like to, gently sort of say things, but at this point we weren't going to church all the time anyway, but we still hadn't like deconstructed. There was a lot of in between. But eventually when I did make it there through lots of other things, I sort of lapsed in faith where I didn't go to church for a while, just because of not agreeing with things they said. Their stance on homosexuality really bothered me, because the brother that I lost died of AIDS. So them condemning him really set me back in my grief process as well. So finally breaking down all of that, breaking down my own internalized homophobia, breaking down my own internalized thoughts about the church, and realizing for myself that there is no God. There's no, Jesus might have been a man that walked, but I don't think he was the Son of God personally. But I also am not at the place where, like, I commend what you do every day, because I'm not there yet, especially in a small little town like this. I'm sure that 99% of the community would be shocked to know that that we're not Christian.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically
So
I guess,
so every
both.
every great dam always collapses eventually, right? But it always starts with one or two
Mm-hmm.
cracks. So would you mind
Yes.
illustrating a little more what those cracks were? You said the loss of your brother and how the church would have
Yeah.
reacted, or how it. Would you mind going into your very first moments of doubt a little bit?
Yeah, my very first moments of doubt, I'll never forget it, because the man is now my brother-in-law and has been my brother-in-law for almost 17 years. But he was, for a period of time, the youth pastor at the church we attended. And people in our community didn't know. This was in 2001. People didn't know really what AIDS was around here, and it was still very much like he was very closeted in our community and had moved away. So my family was like very hush hush about how he died. They lied, said he died of something else, had him cremated and brought home and buried. And he had been away from the community for about 20 years anyway, so a lot of people didn't know him anymore. But my brother-in-law at church one day saw that I had this was before we were married. This is when I was still a teenager, but my brother-in-law was probably like 20. And he said, "What's that ribbon on your jacket?" And I said, "It's an AIDS awareness ribbon." And he said, because at this moment he was greeting me as the youth pastor as I walked in for youth group. And I was just starting to date his brother. And he said, "Well, you don't have AIDS, do you?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Do you know anybody that does?" And I said, "Not anymore." And he said, "Good."
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's all right. It's been like I said, like probably 19 years since that moment. But that was the moment that I was like, I don't know that this is for me, you know. But it was
That's
just sort
hard.
of continued from there. I mean, that was definitely and that was the point that I really was like, started to doubt and then started to sort of go less and listen a little more closely instead of just being there for the community of it, which I think a lot of people do. A lot of people are lonely and they get sucked in for the community of it. And depending on the place you're going to, or even your own mindset, that can be either a really great thing for somebody or a really dangerous thing for somebody.
Yeah, for sure. So
But
you mentioned earlier that your husband lost his faith before you. So
yeah.
it sounds like you guys were able to deconstruct together eventually. It became a bit of a team effort. Is that
Yeah,
accurate to say? And
it did.
my
Yeah,
question is,
it is. Yeah.
what kind of support group were you able to find besides just each other? Were you able to find a
None.
community of like-minded people?
No, not at all. And it's really only been like the last couple of years that we've really sort of deconstructed more, because our oldest child came out to us as non-binary and gay. So, you know, that was when we really had to, okay, we have to sort of protect them in this community when we know exactly what it's capable of because we were once part of it.
Yeah.
But also being able to, I don't know how to word it other than to say, you know, to try to do things to make it more acceptable in our community, make it more, I don't want to say acceptable, but, welcomed or not.
Destigmatize it.
Yes, that's the word, yes. And there's
Yeah.
been some things that have happened, from that have been difficult as well, from deconstructing a little more publicly. And, my husband's a teacher, and somebody left a box of poo at the end of our driveway and lit it on fire shortly after, we
Great.
shortly after we
No.
started attending pride marches and standing up for, LGBTQ things, vocally and in the community.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
What a great example of Christian love, right?
I know, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I
great.
thank
But
you
yeah,
for
no, we
sharing your
were we
story with
were
us.
certain. Oh, no problem. I wish that somebody had been there. In some ways, I'm thankful that my husband sort of let me be blind for a little while, but in other
Yeah.
ways, I think, why didn't you sort of, but I don't think
Yeah.
I would have been ready to. I think
Right.
everybody's ready to deconstruct at a different time too, because you definitely can talk to people sometimes and you think they're just not ready yet. They're just,
Yes.
they're just not there.
Yeah.
And maybe they will
I
be,
could
and maybe
grab
they
you and
won't.
shake you by the shoulders all day long, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to get through, right?
Yeah.
We all have to open our
No.
own doors. It just takes
Mm-hmm.
a little nudge sometimes, or a boot in the butt to knock you through the other side.
It really does. Yeah, it really does. And I
Yeah.
think that was sort of how we got there in the last couple years. The boot in the door was seeing the effects of, onto our own family, and realizing like we've seen this happen once and we're not going to see it happen again.
Yeah.
Yeah. But thank you for letting me come up. And
My
I
pleasure.
am, really thankful that you do what you do.
Thank you. Well, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for people like you. So thank you. Thank
Oh,
you so
thank you.
much for your kind
You're welcome.
words. And yeah, come back again.
All right, thanks.
Okay, that's all the time I have for guests. So I'm going to wrap up the show. Chelsea, do you have any final thoughts or words of wisdom you'd like to share before we call it a day? And her internet decided to fart in a bag. Hi, everyone. Hello, Tex. Welcome. I saw you join. Hello, my friends. Hello, everyone. I wish I had more time, but it is late in the hour. I'm waiting for Chelsea to come back any moment. Her internet is not the greatest, which is part of the reason why I usually host and she co-hosts, because of my internet is more stable. But please, everyone, follow Chelsea. I go on her lives often. She hosts lives without me from time to time. She's actually been doing this longer than I have, on TikTok anyway. But we're all in this together, right? This is a team effort. We have an opportunity to share this wonderful, wacky, wild world together. And what point would there be if not to try to understand what's going on, how we got here, what it all means? Is there a meaning to life? The meaning is what you make it, right? We struggle sometimes because we don't have the answers. We don't know what the meaning of life is. So it's terrifying. It's anxiety inducing. But when you can breathe and take a step back and realize what's truly important to you, what do you really care about? That's when you are able to examine the question, what is the meaning of life? And then try to answer it. What does it mean to you? How do you want to leave this world when your time is up? Only for believers. You know, I know. They'll say anything to justify scamming others. I'm not making money from this. I mean, I'd like to. I'm actually working on a Patreon account because I would like to make this a full-time gig, but I can't. I can't financially justify it. I do this because it's a labor of love. I like to share skepticism. I like to show people how to apply critical thinking, to demonstrate Occam's razor, to take any claim and run it through the test. Well, what's the test? Is it repeatable? Is it demonstrable? Is it quantifiable? We can talk about this stuff, right? That's what we're here to do. That's what I'm here to do. I like talking about this stuff because don't believe anything I say. Don't believe anything anyone says. Always, look into the reality yourself. Do your own research. I know that's a tortured phrase now. Do your own research. What I mean is buy a textbook. Learn physics the old-fashioned way. Do the math. Figure it out. Right? Don't just believe some yo-yo on YouTube showing you pictures of aliens that don't exist. Be skeptical. Be doubtful. Doubt is a good thing. Practice skeptical thinking. All right, well, I was waiting for Chelsea to hop back in and share her final thoughts, but sorry, Chel, I ran out of time. All right. Goodbye, everyone. Good night. Be well. Don't spend all your time on TikTok. Get outside, touch some grass, read a book, hug your mom. All right. Until next time, good night and good luck.